sincerity of it is actually what's going to help you to perform better.
Yeah, and the one thing that we actually don't want from any of these teams, and that we tend to see quite often, as sad as it is to say this, is that they wait for the last second.
Yeah.
To just actually
Hey, what's up guys? क्या हाल चाल सभी के?
That's when they're like, you know what?
कैसे हैं सभी लोग? आई होप सभी लोग अच्छे होंगे।
And luckily for Group B,
एक सेकंड जरा एक चीज करने गाइस, थोड़ा सा वेट।
They came out incredibly strong, which solidified those future games for them. Did they win? No. But they were sitting in the middle of the pack, you know, a little bit more safe than hitting those bottom two on the leaderboard. So I think come out incredibly strong. And, you know, we're talking about the teams, double snipers, double rushes, like just see. If this works, give yourself those 2 matches.
As I keep saying, I think turn up the competition inside as well, right? And as I keep saying,
स्टार्ट हो। मेरा नेट इशू हो रहा है क्या? एक सेकंड गाइस, वेट थोड़ा सा। से चलाते वेबसाइट एक और।
Doesn't care about getting booyahs yet because it's just the number 1. You don't need that for the like compared to Champion Rush, so you can go with that.
B is gonna be top heavy.
ठीक रहेगा, थोड़ी देर में हो जाएगा ठीक ऑटोमेटिक।
Or if we're gonna be seeing something different.
क्या हो रहा है ये मेरे नेट में?
And there's plenty more where that came from. Into your opponents. Don't hold back. Don't hesitate, and trust in your teammates. Yeah. And
as we saw in the first group, like, there is few surprise, but most of the time the favorites just have made strong starts to the tournament. It will be maybe the same on Group B. I mean, we will find out in few minutes now. So please, ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome our teams, starting with Miyako!
Oh, Miyako.
Al-Ali Esports!
क्या इशू है यार?
Lion!
अरे यार,
mibr.los!
एक सेकंड।
Team Vitality!
इसमें तो ऐसे ही होगा। कहाँ पे है?
Team RRQ!
Twisted Minds!
Team Team Secret!
And finally, Fluxo W7M!
टोटल गेमिंग आ गई?
You decide whether you dominate or whether you simply survive. This is Free Fire at the Esports World Cup.
And which team will come out on top in this group B? Hey, you know what? It's time to find out.
Chat
Ladies and
perfect. अब ठीक रहेगा, YouTube में प्रॉब्लम नहीं आनी चाहिए.
Gentlemen, welcome to the Esports World Cup Free Fire games coming up. This time with the teams from Group B, a group with a lot of second places, a lot of podium finishes but never at the top, a lot of second place curses, a lot of redemption arc waiting to be reignited again.
I really like that we're going to be casting this group, especially because everybody's got to prove themselves. That's the main impact of this group. Compared to our Group A, where we saw the group of death, the most difficult group, the toughest of the teams, and you could see it's already top heavy. But I think this is the group, Group B, 6 games, where anything can happen. Everybody has a chance. Yes, Fluxo is one of the favorites, and they are roaring with their fans right here. And on top of it, RRQ, they're somebody who's looking forward to get themselves on the board and not choke.
Yeah, if you want to look at a lobby with teams that have known heartbreak more than anyone else,
exactly,
this is the lobby. This is the group. Fluxo last year in Jakarta in the Global Finals 2025, second place for both categories. Both ripped away by Thai teams, ag.al in Clash Squad, BRU in the Battle Royale after breaking the streak for 2 years straight. RRQ, same thing, EWC 25, 3 chances and they dropped all of it. Recently in the Spring Clash Squad, same thing, came in second. Global Finals 24, they came in second again. So many storylines that they're waiting to complete. And
Scary hello bhai, क्या हालचाल? Are you being paid for? नहीं. अपनी तरफ से.
The upper hand, who came in more prepared than everyone else.
And on top of it, like Fluxo are trying to get to their winning ways. I think what Team Secret did, they are going to be looking forward to replicate that here, because this is Vietnam coming here for EWC. They missed out last year. They want to make sure that this 26th season is something that they can be able to prove, along with, as we mentioned, right, Group A already being the most difficult group. Here there's an opportunity for the South Asian team, something that we did not see a lot
Team
in Group
Epic's
A.
gaming to qualify.
It was a very tough lobby out there. They couldn't get out from the bottom 6, but I think here there's a wild chance for the Bangladeshi teams, for the Indian squads, all going up the ranks.
Hey, we have Soul, we have Straw Hats. I think even TG is in here. Total Gaming is here as well. I personally, if you ask me, I'm looking at Latin teams, right? I am looking at mibr.los and Lion, especially Lion, because this is a team that has members, that has players from Rainbow 7 back in FFW 2025, and one of my favorite sniper players out there, Games King. Young player, young prodigy from the region. He has made a promise that he's going to be the one that goes on that big stage. He gave us quite the performance last year on that global stage, but it wasn't enough to close things out. Now he gets a second chance here.
And I think I agree with you. I think Lion are a team to watch out for everybody else. The 12 lot, 11 lot. And if they don't, he might be a menace in the lobby in its entirety. The other survivors will have a very tough battle.
किसको support कर रहे हैं इसमें? B group में.
Another opportunity for young guns when you already spoke about it. ag.al esports. They are looking forward to prove on a global stage. They've been very aggressive in the lobbies. They've been known as the underdogs, and now they're looking forward to prove in such a stage as here. I hope that aggressiveness right at the game number 1, like how we ended up seeing Loud, is out here from ag.al.
Yeah, and if you talk about young guns and aggressive players, right? We have people from Fluxo who have also had quite the journey. Even before they were Fluxo, they won their first trophy back in 2022, and then they did it again the year after under the banner of Fluxo. With only one minor change to the roster in the sniper role, right? But this entire squad has been together for what, like 3-4 years now, and they're constantly chasing for new highs. They've came close in recent times, and when you look back at EWC 24 and 25, they
Total
really
Gaming
had the best
forever.
finish. Last year, didn't even
Best
qualify
team.
for Champion Rush. They were bottom 6 in the grand
Total
finals,
Gaming.
alongside teams like BRU and Falcons, surprisingly. And now I think they are in a very good spot to make things right. Even though you look at how they qualify here, they came in 4th.
आपने Discord की voice लगा रखी live में?
I think, you know, a team like Fluxo is a team that is always full of surprises.
Yeah, the surprises and possibilities. I think this season in its entirety for Free Fire itself, teams have had an opportunity to prove themselves, win, like how we spoke about Team Secret, right? They took up an opportunity who nobody in that SCA Grand Finals thought would be possible. Back-to-back booyahs, and something that Fluxo right now can do it for themselves. I think right now everybody is looking and gearing for them because they've been roaring from the very start. Even before we ended Group A, that was one noise that we heard from the very start and from the very beginning. And I think when we talk about the beginnings of all things, I think I want to talk about Total Gaming as well. This is a squad from India that have been the biggest in terms of names for Free Fire, and they want to prove on the global stage. They have certain recent changes that they're trying to test the grounds itself, and now that they're on an international stage, they would rightfully want to prove their decades of experience right here, right now.
Even for me, it's a very exciting time because it's not technically not the first time we've seen, you know, teams from South Asia and India compete in a regional international stage. We actually saw it for the first time back in 2022.
Fluxo के बहुत fan आ रखे हैं.
Sort of have the same journey as the Aurora Gaming from Malaysia, where it took 4 years since the last appearance on an international stage. So I think, you know, this really goes back to how much they can make use of the unpredictability of the group, right? I think with how volatile Group B is, it is very easy to blow the gates wide open and take that lead. But our experts actually also talked about RRQ's young star runs, right? Conchita mentioned it earlier on. This is someone that has been on my radar for a while. In Clash Squad, phenomenal performance. I think taking over the reins of Abai in that playmaker role has really suited him very well. But like she mentioned, this is also the true test. Can he kind of deal with the pressure, right? Or will he fold?
We will kind of see how it goes for the side of RRQ, mainly because even I was having a chat with Neptune yesterday, depending on what RRQ keep making changes. They're very adaptable in their play style. And Maal, right? He's been the main man who everybody thinks is going to fight from afar, but all of a sudden he's right in front of your face. So
Total Gaming tell का मजा ही
coming out
उतरते ही देखो.
could be something that we see especially in this group, where we saw Group A had
Total Gaming
stuff that they were
forever.
doing, whether it be the support players, whether it be the rushers,
Team
the
Apex
snipers.
Gaming तो पिट
There
गई.
were the
अब Total
specific
Gaming
roles, but
बदला
in
लेगी.
Group B, a lot can change because we have teams who want to
वो
prove
अच्छा खेला
themselves.
था.
All Elite
Shoto,
itself,
भाई
them here on this
साहब,
stage,
crazy.
they want to prove themselves from Mina, and now here on EWC
वही निकाला main, वही
2026
बंदा game
Paris,
झेला है.
they want to make sure that they are one of the ones in the top 4, especially because it's cutthroat, right? If you don't be at the top 4, you have to go to the survival stage, and if you don't stay in the top 8, sorry, the top 10, you're out of the tournament.
But Team Apex Gaming qualify हो गई.
Because you look at survival stage, that's an extra.
मतलब उसके लिए 2 टीम एलिमिनेट होनी थी ना आज.
Group stage, and if you perform good enough, you skip that 10 games. You get the prep for the grand finals. If not, you go to another group of 10 games, and then you have an uncapped grand finals with a 90-point threshold to even have a chance of winning everything. I think at the end of the day, I personally want to see some of these regions, these unproven regions, give us something to smile about, right? Last year, Dragon Esports has proven that in Riyadh. Sure, there were some shortcomings we did discuss on broadcast at that point of time. They're not the best when it comes to gunfights, but one thing that they excelled in is
group में
the circle. They're making smarter choices, better rotations, and more crisp macro, you know, manipulations to outsmart teams like BRU, like Falcons.
Sorry,
like top 6 in the first
Evo
place.
तगड़ी,
So I think
Falcon
if we
तगड़ी,
can find some of the talents
sorry
in this
तगड़ी.
pool of Group B teams, it is going to be a very, very interesting day.
It is, and when you say about the smart choices, right, I want to talk about Team Vitality in the Asia Invitational that we right now had. They became the champions, right? They took it away from Team Apex Gaming. Team Apex Gaming had almost an opportunity. KD goes right up on the roof. if that worked out,
start
maybe the Asia
over, jaldi
Invitational, we ended up
start
seeing
ho.
Team Apex Gaming and India getting a crown just before they headed towards the Esports World Cup. But Team Vitality taking that might be a push for them here on the international stage, where they have an opportunity to take another title for themselves, because that might be the high that they'll be riding on.
India
I
से
mean,
3 है
they
total.
almost got that trophy last year, right? It
Yes.
went all the way to a game 10,
SC12,
and
TG और
you
Team Apex
cannot
Gaming.
script this any better. The
Yeah.
last 4v4 fight was between them and Evo's Divine. They were also the one that stopped RQ from winning everything in Game A, and you know, they were the ones that really gave us that Game 10 in a way. So this year, I think Team Vitality, even though they haven't really been at the top, you don't really see them on the
अच्छी थी
podium
obviously, हो
finish,
सकता है.
they have done more than enough to get themselves on to Paris. And I think this is what actually
Total
matters in the
Gaming तो
grand scheme of
बहुत
things.
brutal
And
खेलती है.
battling for
मैंने बहुत matches देखे
Bangladesh
इनके.
is going to be Straw Hats. I think when we ended up seeing Titan Esports Club, they
अब
couldn't
देखते हैं,
step up.
हाँ.
We hope that Blade would
खेल जाता मस्त
maybe
है
have
भाई.
a
मज़े आती है
big
इंडिया
day.
को
We
represent कर
didn't
देगी.
see him try to fight it out, break down the clue walls, but it was just not enough. But on the other end, Straw Hats in the recent performance, even in, as I was mentioning about the Asia Invitational, well, Team Vitality won. Straw Hats put up a really good performance there. So I think this could be an opportunity for them as well, because we've been talking continuously that Group B is a group of opportunity. If you're able to put yourselves ahead of everybody else, you can get to the top of the charts. You can make it to the top 4 here on day 1 of the group stages itself.
And I think one of the factors that is going to affect which team have better chances is the map rotation, right? We saw in Group A, it's going to be the same for Group B. I think you and I had this discussion behind backstage, where this feels like it favors the Indonesians. It favors RQ, Vitality, and Fluxo to a certain degree, right? We no longer have Alpine in the map rotation, so we're looking at Bermuda. We start off good. Then we go Solara, we get Curveball, then we go to Purgatory, and then Nextera, Kalahari, Nextera. I think the last 3 maps is going to be incredibly brutal for teams that are not called RQ, they are not called Team Vitality.
And I like that you brought out that this is going to be a really good map rotation, matches that we are going to flow through for the Indonesian teams, especially because when you kind of trace back in time, the teams from Thailand were dominating Free Fire in general, but now Indonesia, who have such a vivid
India से नहीं गया क्या कोई देखने
getting back to those
audience
titles.
में
RRQ, we were talking about
YouTuber
them.
को छोड़
They're
के.
getting closer. I think that finish that they need, the refining might have just happened right before the Esports World Cup. Same goes for Team Vitality. They've been on the hunt for this title.
मैं तो गरीब हूँ ना, मैं अमीर में नहीं आता.
But this time maybe hook or crook, they make it happen.
Only thing that I am slightly sad about that we're not going to see for the next, well, today and tomorrow is Team Vitality against Falcons, right? In different groups, love to see the Falcon Slayers show up somehow, but good chance that if they both make it, whether it's to survival stage or the grand finals, I think it's almost a guarantee.
इनके तो headphone भी महंगे होते हैं.
Look at public opinion.
Yeah.
But I'm a sucker for underdog stories, right?
Yes.
At some point, I'm willing to sacrifice some of these top dogs to get the unproven
वही
leaders
बात
on
है.
that big map, right? If you want to trade okay, maybe a bit too much.
Yeah.
If you want me to trade Aurora for Straw Hats, I would make that trade.
ऐसे chew.
Agreed. I think that works out. But when you kind of talk about these
Buriram के
underdog
132
stories,
point
right,
है.
you need to talk about the new regions who have come into the Esports World Cup. That's going to be USA. We were
और
already talking
Gun
about
Dynasty के 115, AGL के 112, EVOS के 111.
2026. We saw how they played out, and I think out of
Titan
from
Esports
USA,
Club बाहर
they
हो
are
गई और
really good.
Demons
So,
Pride बाहर हो
on
गई.
this international stage, we've not seen the newer teams
Group
prove
1
as
से.
well immediately when they start off. But if they can, that tells us the competition has completely changed.
Yeah, actually, it's quite the
Paradox Gaming बच गई,
fair
Team
as well.
Apex
I
बच
wouldn't
गई.
have dreamed of having the stakes in Free Fire as well, but here we are. And also a fun thing to point out, a fun little detail that we actually both noticed at the start of the day is that the what do you call it, the shield, where you put the key in.
Exactly.
Right? So there's the inscription in the middle, right? And it's written everything.
कब start
everything
होगा?
is-
Wait
everything
नहीं
is
हो रहा.
foreign, and it's
जल्दी
inscribed
start हो
in the
जा.
native language of the team that won last year. So if you rewind or at some point you get a clear shot of that again in the center, you can see the writings is actually in Basa Indo because he did win last year. Neat little detail. I love it a lot.
And this makes that shit a lot more personal.
पहले starting में नहीं खेली 2 मैच.
You have your
उसके
own
बाद
inscription
खेलना
for
शुरू
the
किया.
region that you're going to be representing, your own language that is going to be coming up, and you could get to the totem, which we started at the start of the day. You've
Yes.
seen on the stream itself, as we are going to be starting off the Group B games, that is something that these players will be thinking at the back of their mind. a long run of 12 games in total, but today they have to only worry about the first 6 games they play out, how they start off, how they change. And I think for Group B compared to Group A, it's about adaptability, change, be on top of your heels. If you're going to be setting your foot down, it's going to be very tough.
I agree. And, you know, ironically, there's still one more team that we haven't highlighted, and it's also a team that a lot of time gets sidelined, but not for a bad reason. It's Twisted Minds, right? This is a team that they have always been doing some of the dirty work behind the scenes. They've always been putting out good numbers, but they're never sort of under the microscope. They're never in the center of the stage, because it feels like when they pop off, you get an instant or two of good moments, of good plays, but afterwards, you sort of desire more from them. It feels like it never happens. And I hope that they change it this year, right? Because this is a team that previously, when we still had one of the best snipers from Thailand, Saming on their squad, it is one of the deadliest teams. It is actually the first team to ever qualify for the Esports World Cup 24 in Riyadh. They were the first team to make it
Group 1 में भी तो
under
थी
the banner of reverse rate, and then they became Twisted Minds. But ever since then, it hasn't really been the same, and we are still looking for the spark that made Twisted Minds 2 years later.
Something that is same that we have seen from the very start, even before our start of the team entries, is the energy coming in from the Fluxo fans. They're looking unstoppable. I'm just loving this vibe that they've created for Arena, for this stage for Esports World Cup 2026 Paris. It looks unstoppable. The energy is just going through veins for everybody. And it feels like for us also
motivate कर रहे हो ने
just jump up from your seats, start dancing, vibe to those beats, and go the Fluxo way. They're enticing everybody sitting here to just root for Fluxo.
It's like, how could you not want to root for Fluxo, right? In fact, even when they lifted the banner, there's actually like a backstory lore, right? We asked Carol about it, and it was the whole encounter between Fluxo and mibr.los back in their regular split. And well, guess what? They are both in the same lobby again, and we actually would get a potential remake of that scenario on Kalahari if it does happen, because record has it. mibr.los has had Fluxo's numbers back on Kalahari until Fluxo decided that they've had enough, and that's where the whole quote comes out. It translates roughly to, "Dang it, they had us." I can't go any further than that, but you get the idea, right? And it became a quote for the Fluxo fans that they are flying on that banner, which is nice, right? Like sometimes people think that, oh, this is planned now. I'm telling you, no one rigged anything, right? It falls into place. Who could have expected Team Secret to win Spring? If you ask me, I would say no way. I tune in, I saw them lift the trophy, and I'm like, okay, they won. How did they win?
अब स्टार्ट
होएगा. Hello?
जश्न करते.
I was so surprised to see that happening one after another, and I think that's a similar storyline I kind of expect from RRQ when I was talking about the Asia Invitational, right? They were so close. They were closer than Vitality, even though they had activated the Champion Rush. It was supposed to be RRQ to close it, because they made a similar comeback like that, back to back booyahs, and they activated the Champion Rush, but they missed out on closing it, and Team Vitality just did it.
Yep, but we actually seen it many times. Even from a team that's actually not here, Team Onyx Esports, went back in Spring 2025. We know that, right? They won the Champion Rush when no one expected them to do so. Unfortunately, the 25 round wasn't that great for them in Riyadh. I think that is the crazy thing about Champion Rush, which we have plenty of time to mentally prepare for. But you can see some of these teams, they're holding hands, they're making sure that, you know, they were actually in a group hug, you know, before the walk-ins. A lot of these teams, especially those that are coming in for the very first time, just making sure that they dial in. Right? For the experienced ones like Fluxo, we see Bobs, he's meditating, he's ready to wreak havoc. But like again, for the unproven regions, I'm looking forward to see if they can upset the balance. I think that is the most exciting part right now.
I think the weighing scale is going to be a big imbalance in this group. You cannot figure out which team's doing better. Right from game 1 to our end at game 6, you will have no clue about it. But as the fans are riling up, it's also time to start our very first game. It is Bermuda for Group B here at the Esports World Cup 2026 in Paris.
Paris, France. Let's continue to light things up, because Group B is going to be a fantastic show. And right off the bat, we gotta look at how Bermuda plays out, right? In this case, very generous flight path right down the middle. We should get a decent circle. The drops come in. Still, pretty much what we expected from the teams that we see a lot. Vitality going to Observatory, RQ going to Remnant Village. I want to see who takes peak, right? Because usually it's
नीचे
a
आएगी
BRU spot,
छोटे
but
में
BRU isn't here. We're looking at TG
scoreboard
deciding to go for peak. I think Fluxo should go for Cape Town or
RR
somewhere that gears towards Sentosa.
TG peak गई है.
Also heading that direction as well, but actually
Vitality
spreading out.
observatory.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. Fluxo going all over the map. We can
City
see one of the
will
players, as you already
Dima.
mentioned, between Miyako, but most of the teams seems to be a
Oh
little
भाई,
safe and sound, except
पूरी
for just
team
Minds
ऊपर
and
चढ़ रखी
early
है.
esports. A little bit of a quick battle first elimination picked up by Exposy, and that's going to be C4, who's already down, and that's going to be Al-Hali already in a disadvantage. Remind Hawk and Simons has to pick this up. They're closer, a quick dash to get the player back up. They expend their ability to get a revive.
And I think, you know, in the early game, it is still very much understandable, right? You really don't lose too much. Worst case scenario, you go back to square one. I think for Al-Ali, that's exactly what they're looking at, right? Find some distance between them and Twisted Minds and make sure they didn't lose too much numbers. Unfortunately for them, they can't really fully disengage from this. So now they're going to be put to the test.
Can they stand up against total gaming आ भी गई.
that early game gunfight?
It's going to be difficult for them.
Mafia आ गया. वोटा भी आ गया. Zipline से आ गए. ये देखो, एस्टैक भी आ गया, शैंकी भी आ गया. ओले.
And it could become even more difficult because the resources.
अब बजेगी तगड़ी लड़ाई. थर्ड पार्टी. सही है भाई, डिसीजन एकदम एक्यूरेट है. देखो देखो, किल चोरी होएगा. निकाल लिया किल. टोटल गेमिंग ने 3.
And it's Total Gaming that is the one
तीन किल ले लिए.
for both squads. I think getting that elimination early on onto the bus. That is going to stop every altercation that has happened to this point and shift the focus of Twisted Minds towards themselves. 3 eliminations early on. Al-Hadi gets bailed out of this situation. Everyone lives on, but let's see how far Total Gaming
ये easy kill ले सकता है
Total Gaming esports.
sorry Mafia.
They wanted this opportunity for a long
Oh
time.
भाई, Exposy को भी निकाल दिया.
Some fine tuning with the new addition coming in water. It seems like it's
Bro, TG
quickly teared it off by Diamond. So there is
फेल दिया.
but they have to be very and Mafia looks like
क्या मैंने क्या करी?
picks up Diamond, the man who troubled them. That is another
ये बोल
elimination
सकते
added to
हैं.
the pool and
गाली में नहीं आता ये.
right at the start get a total of 6 troubling Twisted Minds.
Yeah, took off on a sprint in a marathon and off to a great start. 6 eliminations at the back, and unfortunately for the boss, doesn't really have much resources in his bank. So even a revive would be an impossible task as of now.
भाई टोटल गेमिंग ने तगड़ा काम किया है. बेचारा देखो कहाँ बैठा है अकेला.
You didn't say, I mean, Total Gaming, they have something in store for us. Gives back the feeling of what we saw from Gun Dynasty earlier on, right? It could be that run as we shift our focus over to Lion.
Vitality भी आ गई.
As well. In their crosshairs, Bank being forced out by the Riptide Rhythm. A couple of
SCTL free kill ले सकती है. Free kill ले सकती है SCTL. निकाल लिया.
SHUL esports.
अब फंसेंगे दोनों.
The newest addition for the lot, and he has to prove himself on this stage, but now he gets taken down. It's going to be a trouble. He will also be confirmed. Bunny, he couldn't do much. The glue wall in front of him, Riptide Rhythm being used. Now he's going for the jump shot, but Joker surrounded him. That's not going to work out. Once more, Lion picking up another elimination on SHUL. So the start not great. Troll also down.
Shit.
It's all up to Jack, and he's making a quick run away from this fight entirely.
You tempt the Lion, you better be ready. And in this case, Lion were fully prepared to receive that hit. Especially when you're dealing with people like Joker, like Games Kings that we talked about, the young prodigy of Latam, Hacks as well. Sometimes forgotten in the wayside as Jack gets
RRQ है ना शायद.
blast him in the back, and that's another point gone. Twisted Minds secures the second, and they get a full revive. So the boss get the job done.
Thankfully, before going down,
सही है, एक तो
were
बच
able
गया.
to find a revive. Others could have been a very first elimination in this Group B Game 1. Thankfully, a little recovery, even for Twisted Minds, because of what just went down earlier. They were not prepared against Total Gaming. Now they did find an elimination that they're happy about. But the happiest so far,
कितनी फैली हुई है
energy, not
TWI
even
सर.
a single beat being dropped. That's going to be for the Fluxo fans. But Straw Hats finally, who had an early difficulty, now picking up pace. They pick a player from Al-Hali, and that's going to be Remind.
And even then, we still have 45 players in the lobby, right? As if no one got taken out at all. Bit of a casualty, but nothing a couple of revives wouldn't solve. Even when you look at TG moving towards the center very soon. Launchpad being taken by Straw Hats. They're going to leave Graveyard. one of the players does lag behind a little bit, but you do have a reconnaissance.
लड़ाई कम बज रही है इस lobby में.
Running into Simox from ag.al, they spot him taking the launch pad out.
Background वही जो team कर रही थी यहाँ.
Conceded over the Straw Hats.
I think because
इस वाली में ना लड़ाई कम बज रही है. उस वाली में तो भयंकर एक ही घर में दो तीन टीमें घुस रही थी. बहुत ज़्यादा. अबे RRQ वाइटलिटी भी आ गई.
And mibr.los will be able to recover the players in this bolt make.
RRQ का अकेला बंदा बचा है. मिया के दो बचे हैं.
RRQ and sending only the young Maal on the run. No vending machine in sight. A revival point that is too risky to try and capture with Team Vitality and mibr.los about to square off in that area around.
सही है Vitality नहीं देखा बच गया
RRQ. A lot of low grounds to hide with. But Team Vitality splitting up as well into a 1-2-1 formation. Whereas mibr.los, they're going to settle in the compound that they just wrestled away from RRQ.
I really like how Vitality is strategizing. They're waiting for an opportunity. They're like the cats who are about to pounce, and mibr.los have no idea about it because they just.
आ गई TG. होले.
But look at this, slowly trailing.
Why TG नहीं मानती? Brutal ही रहती है.
There's going to be a helter-skelter breakout happening at Clock Tower now.
Yeah, it's going to be pandemonium pretty soon. We got to see where this circle takes us, right?
Yeah.
High chance.
वो SATL पूरी बच
the next circle. But where it kind of pivots towards going to decide where
TS
वाले
वही है SATL
smack dab in the center. We are getting a very, very nice algorithm for game one.
Yeah.
Starting it slow and tame.
Slow and steady was not how all it started. Multiple teams having casualties, but still all the 12 teams that dropped in Bermuda are
TG
still
का भी first time ही है ना?
Major chunk
Land
of it,
tournament.
maybe a team fully being eliminated can be seen here now at the 7-minute mark.
भाई first time खेलना बहुत बड़ी बात होती है ऐसे.
It's going to be the first team you mentioned. There's no vending machine nearby, and Mahal couldn't get closer before getting spotted by Al-Ali.
Oh, RRQ गई.
The recent Asian invitation that they were in, right? Same thing. Start. It's always not how you start, it's how you finish. And in this case, for Team RRQ, they're gonna go back to the drawing board. 5 more rounds ahead. And some of the most powerful maps in the later stages of Group B. So not all hope is lost. Exposy finds the 3rd point for his team as well. Twisted Mind slowing the pace down. Was able to get back on their feet. Decent economy. And even having a very decked out arsenal should this game go late. I think they just cleared out Graveyard. There's going to be a very good trajectory for them to move on forward. Even better with Lion just leaving where they were.
On the other end, silence still at Clock Tower. I think people can hear the clock making a tick sound. That's how we are seeing mibr.los, Total Gaming and Vitality together. And joining that lot is going to be Straw Hats. Slow and steady, everybody want to look for an opportunity. This is going to be Yago, who spots through the window on the player of Straw Hats, the newest entry team who've made
Total Gaming ना पता है zone लगाया होगा इन्होंने info box
meaning the fight is not
तब बैठी है ऐसे
only when the circle shifts away from you and you have to make a move
position लेके बैठी है.
I think other than that they'll be just trying to chip away each other's HP. Other than that, nothing else for now.
पक्का clock के आसपास ही बन रहा है zone.
They're going to spread out their manpower, right? You want to control as much area as possible. You do run the risk of getting picked off. We've seen that happen multiple times. If you're up against more experienced team, that's what they're looking at.
सबसे ज़्यादा उन्हीं को दिखाया जाता है जो होती है कि पता है जो है ही team.
Getting another one under his belt.
One of the best team.
Gonna start hurting Lion.
अभी देखो Total Gaming को कितना दिखा रहे बार-बार. घुमा फिरा के दिखाई दे रहे हैं.
But more equipped to take on a fight.
Twisted Minds, I really like that they managed to recover, but they're not just completely clocked in. They need to figure out, and same goes for Lion. A quick jump coming in from Gamesh King.
भाई इनमें zone से नहीं निकल के देते बंदे.
Still in another different direction, but not yet towards the circle. He's just moving further away.
Yeah, I mean, one team that has been pretty silent the entire game.
आगे Fluxo भी मैदान में. 5 kill कर चुकी Fluxo.
On Bermuda, you expect them to come out swinging, get a couple of eliminations before they go off the radar. But so far, this Team Secret right now feels like Fluxo from 2024, where they play an incredibly slow game, and at that point of time, playing slow is sort of how you lose out in the late game. And in this case, Team Secret, they are taking no chances. As you did mention,
SATL ने भी एक kill निकाल लिया है.
circle earlier on.
TSK 0,
But
Mia
now
ke
they will have to
0,
make a break for it. The
EHL
launch
ka
pad
1.
being used, a couple of binoculars ahead of the Masakti strip just to make sure that there are no
देखो टोटल गेमिंग पे
Circle
जोन है
pivots towards the southern side, so the journey
बोला
gets
था
extended,
इसीलिए
and
बैठे
they
हुए
might
उधर
still get intercepted by Twisted Minds.
Now I like the position of
नहीं
Clock
टोटल
Tower.
गेमिंग
More
जब
teams
लॉन्च पैड मार के
joining
तब
that
आई
fray.
थी इसीलिए
More
आई थी
teams
वो
wanting to take control of that
एंगल
arena.
ले गया
It's
था
not going to
इन्होंने
be easy.
इसीलिए
Now is when it all breaks loose, because right at the edge when the zone closes in, we are for sure knowing that the Clock Tower will not be inside the circle anymore after it shifts.
I mean, the last we checked the radar, Team Secret were at factory and they were completely alone, right?
Yeah.
Completely
That's angle,
uncontested.
like,
Maybe Fluxo comes in from the eastern side, but even then, it's a high
उधर
chance
fight
that they
ले
will
सकते
not
हैं।
cross paths.
बस फंसेंगे
But we
भी ये
did
लोग
say Clock Tower has a lot of areas that you can play around. High ground,
चलो,
low ground,
zone close
building,
होने वाला
outside,
है।
inside. In this case, even the underground tunnel.
Yep.
As our lead members basically nested there. mibr.los
भाई,
continues to make sure that they
इसमें
control the
कितनी कम
perimeter.
लड़ाई बज रही है।
Alden instantly finds a pop on the Koja.
That was an opening, but I think they should be able to bring the player back up because this is happening within the compounds. Nobody has clear sight of their enemy, so taking them down is not going to be quick and easy. But as you can see, it's just the waiting game right as of now. 11 teams surviving. If not for Mahal going down, I think we would have 12 teams. 11 minutes into the game, this is Group B, game number 1. I did not expect to see all these teams still surviving.
And we were literally just talking about this
ऐसे ट्वेल को निकलना चाहिए अब।
with everyone else, right? Like it really depends on the teams that are playing in the lobby.
Yeah.
Sometimes if they want to play fast, they want to play fast. Sometimes they just decide we're not going to fight. We're getting the ladder. We're getting the teams that are going
अरे ले,
to
heavy
some
driver।
smoke. Maybe 30 minutes into the game when the whole lobby is still up. In this case, barring RRQ, who have been eliminated. But aside from that, it's going to get messy. And that also means this is an incredibly volatile late game.
It is, especially
नहीं,
because we
उधर
already
ज़्यादा
spoke,
किसी का
like
ध्यान नहीं
Group
जाएगा।
A, we know teams are very
Okay,
familiar with the circle itself.
Leon
We
और
saw a lot
मिया
of
की
Southeast
लड़ाई
Asian
बजी।
teams already taking control of it. The Brazilian squad of Loud also taking control of it. But here, everybody is unsure about the other team. They want to read them, and that is the reason they're taking so much time. But finally, Batsin, he finds an opening on Mia Corp. That's going to be Biblik going down next. Joshua have to figure
यहाँ
this
देखो
out.
3 टीम है।
Leon also surrounding them, so there's going to be a lot
यहाँ
more
पे
trouble.
फ्लक्सो
Mia
बढ़िया
Corp
लेगी
trying to
फायदा।
hold them off, glue walls
बहुत
out
बढ़िया
across
फायदा
and
लेगी।
making sure rooftop becomes their home for the time being.
And Leon will have to make a decision right now. The circle
सही कर रहे हैं वो जोन भी पकड़
is going
रहे
to start
साथ।
hurting them. They are going to be rested in this corner. But if they don't show themselves outside of the building, Miacorp has a very good idea of where they might be. Binoculars could also solve that problem. The bigger winner now is definitely the team from the States, as Leon will have to huddle together and figure out a solution very, very quickly in the next half a minute. Also making a big rotation now for Team Secret. And Exposy starts things off by taking out Josper. So Miacorp, they have another team to be worried about.
They did lose a player, but they're not worried about the casualty because they have an upper hand. They are on top of the roof. But right now, having an upper hand might be Fluxo. They want to take down Team Secret because they were the ones who made a jump right in front of them. And they're trying their best, but Team Secret quickly with the chrono, the glue walls are trying to keep it going. But PLS1 is down. TQ, he also gets taken down. 7, he is cut down, and Fluxo, W7M, put the team out.
The Brazilian Titans, 6 eliminations onto Butchers in. And MT7 stepping up to the occasion as well.
दोनों तरफ से पड़ेगी ने।
Even during one of the series breakdown, series recap, snipers players are integral. MT7 Butchers in. We see Yago step up to the occasion as well. And our team Vitality, it's their turn to make a splash. And they are taking care of their opponents. Only Tro is left alive. He's going to try and walk away with the stealth bites. As we lose Straw Hats off screen, Lion is also out. And now
फायदा नहीं ना यहाँ तो पहले से 3-4 टीम
I don't
है।
know where Troll is going to make a run. We already spoke about Clock Tower. It's already in a very difficult spot. The vending machine is there, but so are many other teams. And Troll Gaming are on top of all of it. They're already in the first third of things, so they have a better vision of where the other teams are. And Al Ali, we already spoke about them. They are underground. Nobody knows that they are there. They made their entrance. They're holding their control.
वो kill ले सकता है।
Even Miacorp gets taken down. But wait, Troll. He picks off Dix. He's bringing this down to individual battles, and now Sibang has to deliver. He's trying to put up glue walls. Troll trying to win this out on a 1v1. It's going to be very difficult. Vitality on the last.
Oh, push कर दिया। Oh, total gaming kills निकाल रही है।
Team Vitality eliminated.
Taking advantage of the chaos.
निकाला माफिया ने।
Another point. Twisted Minds against Fluxo.
Fluxo और Twist की लड़ाई
right now. A full blown out fight. 12 eliminations.
Luxo मार देगी
of the Brazilians. Exposé gets
Luxo मार
free
देगी.
pushes in, nails his 8 as MT7 finds the pass from long range. Twisted Minds getting dismantled. MT7 goes for a rescue mission. Bob's the captain back up on his feet, but Twisted Minds not so lucky.
निकाल दिया. Fluxo ने दूसरी एलिमिनेट कर दी थी.
Puts us in and make it 15 for
भाई इसका अकेले की 9 किल.
Unstoppable. They're still at the edge
Wood
of the
जिनके.
circle. mibr.los, he finds a player on Total Gaming, but in the meantime,
Total Gaming अब फंस रही है.
esports, they are out. They only ended
Loss
up
से
getting
लड़ाई
6
बन रही
points in
है.
total. But Total Gaming now, they start stepping out, but Aztec gets hit by
Aztec
Rigby.
knock.
Yago put him down,
Shanky
Shanky. Total Gaming held this
Water
position for
knock.
far too
Oh,
long.
shit.
Water, and then Aztec to fall. That is going to be the end for Total Gaming. Holding that did not work
अच्छा है,
in their
बहुत
favor.
अच्छा है.
And now Fluxo will take on Al-Ali.
हाँ,
Can they eliminate this team from MENA to give themselves that rematch against
14-15
mibr.los in the
पॉइंट तो
opening
निकाल
game? But
लिए.
Al-Ali, they're holding steadfast. They are the ones with the man advantage. And MT7, he needs some help. But
वो है ना,
unfortunately,
zone मार रखा
mibr.los
था.
are in the best possible position. Boss with a nade, takes
Lux
out
हो गई
C4,
अब.
equalize the battlefield. Hawk goes down. Al-Ali now getting pressured.
Nades were being tossed by Fluxo,
Loss ले
but
जाएगी.
mibr.los, they turn it around, and Bobs is the last one
Loss ले
standing.
जाएगी.
It's going to be very difficult, but also Bobs
Low.
trolling Al-Ali
Low.
of mibr.los. They put out Al-Ali, and now it's the last one standing,
खत्म.
Bobs, and it's going to be mibr.los getting
Loss
the very
ही
first booyah of Group B.
What
भाई
an opener here for MIB.
पहले तो लड़ाई नहीं बची रही.
We didn't expect to
फिर
see
एकदम
that
बची
soon in the
लड़ाई.
final circle with minor interventions and an uninvited guest in the form of Al-Ali Esports. But at the end of the day, well fought, honestly, by the MENA region, right? Put up a good fight against Fluxo, gave them a heck of a 4v4 skirmish, even took out one of their members.
Total
before
Gaming ने
MIB
first
lost,
fight
was
बहुत
even in the
crazy निकाली.
conversation.
जो उसने थर्ड
But
पार्टी
there's
करके
nothing to be
मारा.
disappointed about. Los-
मस्त.
They got the booyah. Fluxo still finished second. The fans, they're still cheering on. This is
फंस
just the
गई वो.
beginning.
Yeah, but if this is the very first game and we ended up seeing a fight break out like that, which was, as we said, completely complicated. You couldn't decipher which team had the better opportunity or the better position because we spoke about it. Hey, this team has a compound. Hey, that team is in a good position right at the edge of the circle. But towards the end, mibr.los, who did not even seem on our screens a lot, they ended up closing it out, and it ended up being a fight between the Brazilians at the end of this game.
Yeah, I mean, you called it out, right? You said that Clock Tower is a very good spot to be nested in. And guess who set up shop there first? mibr.los.
Yes.
They got there first, they called dibs, and they owned the area.
And I think that's very crucial
Vitality
because even
pack.
Total Gaming tried to play that out, but the timing when they jumped out, they got spotted because mibr were ahead of that play. They were the ones who stepped out of a Clock Tower, and that is the reason they were able to take down Total Gaming and put them down in an instant. And I think all the fights that we've seen mibr take, they've been very quick in converting. Even in this, as we can see, the replay, quick hits coming in from Yago on the snipe. But Bobs, you have to give it to them. Last man standing over there, looking forward to extra eliminations, ends up getting 2 more, and that's going to be a total of 18 for
भाई
the lot of
N60 से
Fluxo.
बढ़िया
Yeah,
मारता.
they get 18 eliminations. mibr.los gets 14. And in a pretty ironic way, Bob's getting gunned down in the hands of his former teammate Yago, who actually won 2023 together as well. So again, a bit of a bittersweet reunion on Bermuda. But what a start we have.
Oh yeah.
I mean, of course,
Sabi low.
barring the fact that RQ got wiped out first, which is unfortunate circumstances. I'm pretty sure Conchita is losing her
अरे मेरे नेट को क्या हो जाता है
mind
बार-बार?
backstage, but we're gonna take a moment to
Oh,
breathe and let
assist
these
किया जा
teams
रहा है.
get back on track. So we'll be back with you guys in just a bit.
Is here, MT7. I am so happy to talk to you right now because Brazilian fans gave you a nickname called Baby Goat. Do you really think you are a goat? And why you think you can help your team to win EWC? help your team to win EWC this year? MT7, os fãs brasileiros te deram o apelido de Baby Goat. Você
Para ajudar meu time é naquela funçãozinha minha, né? Dar o suporte, derrubar o primeiro, o segundo, o terceiro, o quarto, fazer uns highlights maneiro. E é isso, é básico.
Of course, I consider myself a goat because I have worked really hard through all these years.
क्या कैसा लग रहा है?
We are back here, and right now I'm with RRQ Kazoo, Abai, and the coach Adi, who's gonna translate for us. Okay, so last year you guys were really close to the title. You finished in the second on standings. What have changed from last year to this?
Yang kita lakuin ya kita pasti lebih disiplin aja sih dari yang kemarin.
We must try to more discipline before last season.
Perfect. Okay, we all know Indonesia it's a powerful region, and you guys are defending the title. I mean, not your team, but Indonesia in general. Do you think you guys are favored to win this year since you finished last year in the second in the standings?
Tahun kemarin kan Indonesia cukup powerful ya, Pak ya. 1 2 3. Nah, menurut
And why you think you can help your
we trust in this season.
क्यों दिक्कत होती है?
It seems like last season Indonesia.
कब? पता नहीं यार. नहीं आज नहीं आया.
Indonesia still powerful and we hope in this year team from Indonesia they still stay on top 3.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the interview. We wish you a good luck during the matches, and I will see you there in the arena.
नहीं फ्री फायर की कैटेगरी में डाल रखा है.
Thank you so much, guys.
चैनल का @ बताओ.
For RRQ,
not
really how you wanted to start off the day, being the first team eliminated. Hopefully it's not a caster curse. We'll have to see what's going to happen in the next 5 matches for that squad. But if you're a Brazil fan and you were jumping up there and just playing all those drums, my goodness, what a start for that squad.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, ending the game with top 2 coming from Brazil, it's just something that we'd expect. Because it's somewhat like Fluxo was dominating it in terms of numbers. Even when they jump in against the opponents, they just are aiming for those squad wipes. So mibr.los is a team that we didn't expect to get that booyah as well.
One of the best performances that we have seen up to this point, especially this early on, right? Out of the squads from India, but moving on from some of the other squads, one surprise squad.
SATL के भी अच्छे निकल गए point. 8 point तक सही है starting.
Oh, exactly. I mean, they're going back to the aggressive way. This is one thing that I was looking forward to every time I see Twisted Mind is them to go aggressive. And even though they falter the first few, and you did mention about Total Gaming, because Total Gaming is one of few of those surprises. And it's not so much that they cannot get away from it. A vending machine is available, so they can always go for a revive. And Twisted Mind, they got 14 of the total points. And that's 12 points behind mibr.los, though. But it's still a lot when it comes to this group.
It is a lot. And one thing that I know you're going to be happy, especially talking about Twisted Minds, is those eliminations that they were able to get, right?
Yep.
They ended up getting 14 points, like you mentioned. In 9 of those points
full
were coming
background
from eliminations. You're big on them, but I mean, we got to go back to Fluxo, because Fluxo, even though they don't end up getting the booyah, they do end up with 18 ilms. Can they maybe bounce back and go after that booyah? Remember, we have some squads earlier on get 3 booyahs in one series.
Well, I do understand the mindset.
मेरा छोटा है, इतना लंबा नहीं है मेरा.
From what we've seen in that game, like it is a slow pace, not so much of chasing that's happened. And I think they felt that they're not hearing all those.
मेरा भी फुल वाला ही है. मेरा
I know some of the teams just slowly warming up.
मेरा gaming के
Then
हिसाब
once they
से
see
है,
a squad, that's
इसलिए।
when they use exactly the strength they have, like MT7 as sniper, to get information or get elimination.
I mean, squads that you were looking at earlier too, Leon,
Points
I know
देखो
was one
अपने।
of them. I know a lot of people currently watching at home is hoping that
अरे
SAUL
EWC की वेबसाइट में
esports
टीमों
does
को
end
चुनने
up
पे
doing good. That squad ended up getting a total of 2 eliminations.
प्ले वाले में आता है ना
Come on, tell them that, Tim. We want to see more.
Yeah, we want
इसमें
more. Bring us
जो भी गेम है वो
more.
चुनो
Because,
जैसे
I
फ्री
mean,
फायर
I
है
know
भी
this is the first day jitters for
इसमें टीम
especially like
चुनते हैं
second half, and we were talking about that on.
मुझे SATUL के मिल गए टोटल गेमिंग के मिल गए mibr.los के मिल गए
So this time, instead of just
हाँ लॉगिन भी
waiting
करना
for
पड़ेगा
them to like using that tactics, they were a little bit shattered for the moment, but I think they can get back.
I mean, coming into the second match, I really want to
मैं
see
फर्स्ट मैच का नहीं कर
RRQ
पाया यार
bounce back.
बुरा लग रहा है
And it's based on what Conchita was saying earlier on too. We don't want to see them get into those jitters. We don't want to see them get into that choking mentality that some of these people are expecting.
सेकंड मैच से मुझे 1000 पॉइंट मिले थर्ड मैच से 2000 फिर 2000 फिर 1000 फिर 1500 फिर 2000
Thank you very much to Seven and Neptune. Yes, I mean, Conchita is right? We gotta see if RRQ can get out of that underperforming, that choking zone, right? Something that is it's a very hard C word right now for them because he has been playing them for very, very long, Lucifer. But when we look at Solara, I unfortunately have to put RQ aside just for a bit because I want to talk about Team Vitality. This is a map that they excel on.
This should be an opportunity that they should close on. Solara, the smallest of all the games, the quickest of all the games, where when we compared Bermuda, right, there was a little bit of a silence in the mix. Now going and jumping down to Solara, there's an opportunity that everybody will be forced together, take that fight head on, and we might end up seeing it work out for Vitality, as you mentioned.
It's going to be pretty important as well because for Team Vitality, they didn't get off to the best start, 9 points, single digit. But then again, it was also a pretty top-heavy game number one with both the Brazilian teams coming out swinging. Let's see if they keep the momentum. Right? A lot of times, teams, they come out in game 1, game 2, guns blazing, they hit a 30 bomb and then they gas out. And that's not really how you want. You want to be able to maintain and make sure that you don't overheat. And in this case, we're looking at both mibr.los and
Total Gaming TS को eliminate कर सकती है easily.
Mainly, I look forward to RRQ pulling off their best games because the first game in general games of all the performances I've seen coming in from RRQ, the first game doesn't work in their favor. Every other game they just pull off with a spree of eliminations, and something that also starts off for Ali compared to the previous game is finding the very first elimination by C4.
And for Miacorp, instantly looking for the disengage.
Okay,
Easier to pull off on a map like Solara. If you are lucky enough to get onto the grind rails, you can't get away. But in this case, it might come down to Kapas. See if he can get a couple of pickoffs.
Login कर लिया?
To scare out Ali away.
अब उसमें कुछ का तो वो हो रहा होगा. इस वाली मैच का तो वो हो रहा होगा कि तुम चुन नहीं सकते लॉक है.
In the last game, we ended up seeing being at the edge of the circle. They tried
नहीं
to
before match होता है. 15 मिनट before match.
There it is. Another challenge coming in. C4 finds his second elimination here in Solara.
नहीं अब अगले मैच का कर लो ना. इसमें देखो अगला मैच. हाँ. अभी कर लो. अगले मैच का तो अगला उसके अगला कर लो बाकी के जो 4 बचे हैं उसमें 12 टीमें होंगी जो आज खेल ली अभी.
2 under the belt of Wongam, looking for the remainders of Total Gaming, who actually had a great
my
start
pick,
in game 1.
नहीं my pick में क्यों आएगा?
Team Secret, they started slow on Bermuda, looking to turn things
Live
up
में
in
दिखा
game
रहे
2,
क्या?
and that's number 3. Here's a knuckle sandwich and a triple for Wongam.
Live stream में
Team
दिखाओ.
Secret are now picking up eliminations. They only had 1 point at the end of game number 1. Now they have already 3 added on. And Total Gaming, thankfully, they'll be happy that one of their players were at least able to run away from studio.
ये वाले लॉक्ड हो गए अब नीचे करो.
Team Secret again. And RRQ
नीचे.
on the other end, they will
हाँ
be
इस
able
वाले
to
में
hold
चुनो
themselves
टीमें
off, get to
जो आपको 5
elimination,
टीमें
and
चाहिए.
lost in still trouble. And
जो आपको लग रहा है top 5 कर सकती है.
Yes, as the max 7, but can he find the knock? He's trying his best, but it's not going to work out. Players are surrounding him, still be able to dabble with 1 knock, but will not be able to confirm for the time being.
Completely outnumbered. Fluxo against SAUL. Going even so far. Butcherson and Gio both bleeding out, and Gio is gone, terminated in this battle. As the captain comes in, Tro with a shot. An instant disengage there, but damage is done to the Brazilians. As Tro backs MT7 calls to get out of there.
Luxo भगा दिया सेट गोल ने.
Troll, he's a very crucial player on that sniper and always delivers, and this is one of the moments for him to highlight himself. But on the other end, Twisted Minds and Straw Hats as well did not have a great game. Twisted Minds at least recovered, but for the time being, on the deficit, with Exposy going down, they have to figure out how they fight out with Straw Hats. And Straw Hats, they need numbers, they need eliminations. Something that I had expectations on, and they've not yet delivered. It's just one elimination.
भाई जो लड़ाई बची है SATL और Fluxo की भाई साहब.
From afar, and that means the Straw Hats actually have a numbers advantage. Shocked is
SATL ने मार दिया. 3 बंदे मारे हैं.
And Straw Hats now have a very
मारे
good chance
Fluxo के एक भाग
of taking
गया.
over. But with RRQ taking out Exposy early on, they're going to come in as an intervention as Jump is already out of there. So now RRQ is Straw Hats' problem.
आ गई.
And it is happening already. RRQ with confirming eliminations and taking down players from Straw Hats, and Straw Hats are in trouble. How do they recover from this?
He
is questioning who just challenged them. And it's not going to be an easy challenge. Delivery coming in on the Mac 10 from Abhay. He puts the player down, and who will look forward to a revive from one of his teammates.
And the rest of Straw Hats are already poking it out of there. Very easy way to navigate from this area. They was doing just that. Straw Hats should be fine. A couple of Arsenal nearby, and a revival point in the vending machine down the road. Team Vitality on the other end finds themselves Mia Corp again. Koja trying to pelt down the members of the USA team, but so far the glue walls have been nice. Team Vitality receiving some resistance from Mia Corp, and it's Biblik that takes out Joe.
Not the best coming in from Team Vitality. Even the game 1 start, they were caught out in a 3v1 and they lost to Troll, ending up at a 1v1, and Ali took their last elimination. So not sure of how they play this out. When you already mentioned, we spoke about this. This should be their map, their match. They should try to get back points, get to the top of the charts. But looking at how the play of this game is continuing, I don't see it happening anytime soon for Team Vitality.
Which is the craziest thing, because statistically they're technically not the best on this map, but whenever we get to that map and we look at the stats without Team Vitality, they step up. It's kind of a sick joke in a way.
Yeah.
RQ Kazu having their captain kept alive by Abai, but someone still needs to go retrieve him. And there it is, back up on his feet. RQ with 6 eliminations under their belt. Could cross paths with Vitality. Maybe even Straw Hats again.
I can say to Neptune and everybody else on our expert
Vitality
panel,
or TG की लड़ाई में
there's no curse, you don't have to worry about it. It's just the RRQ play. The very first game doesn't work in their favor, and then they manage to recover. Team Vitality would want to do the same thing as well. Straw Hats on the other end at Casavista, they managed to recover. They did pick up those early fights. They did win it out against Twisted Minds, but they would have wanted to eliminate the whole squad. Thankfully, Jump made an opportunity to run away, but he still not revived his entire squad. This is what happens when you run away from a very early on fight. You do not have enough coins or reinforcements to push ahead or even go to the vending machine and try to get your player back up. And I think that's what's affecting Jump right now.
Quite an interesting development as well. As we look at the edge of the circle, plenty of teams are duking it out. You know, you have RRQ and mibr.los, the eastern side at Ag.al, Team Secret and Lion on the western side as well. But I think Lion are looking for a disengage. They've already sent one of the players out to a vending machine to get those revives going soon as they start dropping bodies. And I think Games King is going to be trapped in quite the predicament. Team Vitality out in the middle in Archway, and actually getting a pretty good area to hold on to.
The circle shifts a little sudden, and there's an opportunity where again, end up being at the very center. Straw Hats, who managed to also make the recovery, are heading in that direction. And right above them, we already spoke about Mia Corp. And Mia Corp, just like the previous game, they don't go out all brash at right the beginning. They wait for their opportunity, which they did pick up a couple in the early game, but it's not going to continue. Right is now RRQ, the ones who are continuing. The team who just got the booyah trying and denying them. That's going to be a big spray coming in and picking the players off, converting eliminations, and that's how we ended up seeing them getting their 6 eliminations in total.
A way better spot than what we have seen in game 1. I mean, anything that is not last right now is better for RRQ. Isolated jump right out on the edge, and unfortunately the same predicament as RRQ from game 1. No vending machine in sight, and no coins. There is one on the radar, but like you said, no resources to bring his teammates back. He actually just picked up a power of it.
Yeah,
and that could be the game changer if mibr.los don't spot him.
Fluxo on the other end, they have an opportunity to spot a player from Lion. Sneakily hiding in the time being here at the studio, and there could be an opportunity that they start off a fight that Lion are not prepared for. But I think Hats has an idea. He knows he's caught out between enemy land. He's not sure if he should head out and put his head there for a fight, and that is the reason he's just holding off until the players move out. But moving in for Team Vitality are going to be Al Ahly as well as Straw Hats.
Total
Something
gaming
that they
भी
have
है
to wonder about
ये
and change
चल
their
रही है
pacing.
ओ बच गया बैठ गया सही टाइम पे
Team Vitality, but they do have a compound that could keep them
गया
safe. Resistance put up a Mafia and App team to take out Deeks in that exchange. But
Mafia में तो
again,
sniper भी नहीं
compound
है
pretty much secured for
एक
now.
ही
So
है
Team Vitality, they should be able to recover and sort of readjust to the fight that's being put up by
नहीं
this Indian
फौजिया
squad.
जे तो इनका वो है
Total Gaming,
Coach.
there's also an opening where they could decide to go straight for the compound with Team Vitality if push comes to shove.
फिफ्थ प्लेयर का नहीं पता मेन तो यही दिखता है हमेशा चारों
If they
यही
try to hold out the compound for far too long, we've known teams who managed to surround
Delete
them.
हो
And that is
सकता
how,
है,
even after
शायद अगर
almost having
खेलता
a
है तो
great
पता
start, they ended up losing the battle, and mibr.los ended up pulling up a booyah itself.
मैंने कब से
So
देखी नहीं
small instances,
और
these
RRQ ने
small
comeback कर
minute
लिया
things that you let
No
go
kill.
of becomes a bigger vital thing for the other teams.
And Diamond taken out. Team Secret joins the feed again.
He just came back.
He just came back. I think we found a theme for Group B so far, Lucifer. Full squad, 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
Second time it has happened. I think this is what we can look forward to for the
47
rest
बंदे बचे
of
अभी
the
भी तो।
day. Which is an exciting thing because it keeps it volatile. Ali even
ट्विस्ट नहीं बचने की अब
a small respite there. Circle now really shrinking down towards the middle. Man, 12 teams, 2 less space
वही
for
कह
this
रहा हूँ ये
density
पहले
of
से जोन लेके
population.
बैठ रहे हैं फिर
Team
किल
Secret
निकाल रहे हैं
from
इधर उधर
the
के
north, mibr.los about to cross paths with them at Archway.
नहीं सही है
Team
14
Secret on the
point
other end, read by the Dinoculars. So I think that should be mibr.los who have an idea, or RRQ on the edge of it. Miyakop, they end up picking up runs, but Maal answers back, takes Nyx down. But those are just knocks for the time being. There's no confirmation.
Leon Joker
Maal,
marega.
in turn, gets traded out. And now Al Ahly jumps to trouble Miyakop. This is just happening back and forth. These teams are just dropping players, but not confirming any of them. Oh! All of a sudden, runs and dots together. They put
Lol.
Miyakop.
And breaks the game wide
लॉल
open just
क्यों
as we
सेकंडों में
thought
मारी है
that the drought will continue for a while longer. And RRQ springing
ट्विस्ट
to
नहीं
life.
बचे
Putting
ओले
themselves on the board for now, and they continue
RRQ और
to take
EHL
on
की
challenges
लड़ाई
against Al Ahly. The glue wall is getting blasted and weakened by Al Ahly. Simox right in the front of dudes, and he is out. The captain once more removed by the Mina squad. Abai trying to take the fight, but
no.
Al Ahly putting up better resistance, and RRQ forced away.
How did this happen? RRQ,
बच गया ट्विस्ट दिख गया रास्ते में
thankfully a quick pickup truck, a quick boost. He's run back to the TV tower and
Twist भी
then
बच गया
in front, so he will be able to bring the players back. But Twisted Minds, they had an opportunity to break again RRQ. But I think they have their target right in front. Al Ahly who made trouble. Jump is down on the other end. They wanted to sandwich. I think that did not work out. And Al Ahly have an upper hand because they
टोटल गेमिंग अब देखो किल निकाल लिए 2 किल कर चुकी
after converting a fight and they're
3 किल निकाल लिए 3 किल निकाल लिए टीजी ने एकदम
in trouble.
And Al Ahly able to sneak past Twisted Minds as well. They poke for it. RRQ,
बच
they get the
गई
full revive, but the pass
गई
was laying in wait.
फंसी
He
ट्विस्ट
just came back and he is removed from the equation again. So RRQ
बढ़िया
playing
एंगल
from
है इस
behind,
पे
and everything is on the
ओ
shoulders
हो
of
हो
Maal.
हो
He needs one
हो
more on the diamond. The AWM just enough to put him down, so Abai can finish him off with the Mac 10. Chrono
Oh.
but the bus is set, and Twisted Minds continues to put on the pedal.
RRQ getting trouble back and forth. They're trying their best to recover. It's not working out in their favor. It was Al Ahly first and now Twisted Minds. And Twisted Minds in this game especially are able to hold themselves off. Team Secret on the other end have been just watching this action. Teams moving around. Now they have their own opportunity. Maal, he needs to run back, but he only has 400 coins.
नहीं बचेगा
That is not going to be a full recovery for him. He wants to look forward to a knock or an
मर जाएगा
elimination, but he
zone
doesn't
में,
have
मर
enough
गया
time. And with Maal going out, the zone doing the damage, RRQ are done for here in Solara.
Standings isn't pretty in terms of
Loss.
placement points.
MIBR के भी सिर्फ एक ही बंदा बचा है
They ran away with 13.
TG सही खेल लिया बहुत
safe.
सेफ
But a little bit in equivalence. If you're now checking on Straw Hats against
फ्लक्सो की और एसएच की लड़ाई
W7M pushes in right through the window, has the therapy with him. the Cassie side along the Oscar, a classic combo to go up front, up close and personal. Tro from afar actually taking out Straw. So Straw has attention being divided. They need a bit of help, but it seems like this sandwich might be too much as ag.al and Fluxo W7M are gonna be the undoing. Have been wiped out.
SA12 भी kill निकाल दी है.
Fluxo, and they're going to be happy. They put Straw Hats completely out of the game. SA12 esports ended up becoming a wonder of a blessing for them.
वो लियोन पे पुश कर दिया. TG ने लियोन पे पुश कर दिया.
One elimination on Straw Hats, but the other 3 were all taken away. Now Team Secret want to do the same thing. They have a total of 11 eliminations right at the end of the circle. With the same position even goes for Twisted Minds. And that is the reason we can see the inclination coming in from Team Secret to take out Twisted Minds as soon as
Leon
possible.
भी फंसेगी अब.
And it has been working wonders for them, right? They picked up the pace. Game 1 they played slow and they fell in the hands of Fluxo. But this time, they amped up the tempo a little bit. And Fluxo surprisingly doing the same.
अब नहीं
But
बचे.
the eliminations hasn't been reflected just yet. We're still looking at 5 for now, but with 8 teams remaining in this lobby, there's a very good opportunity for some of these teams to rack up a couple more takedowns. And SAUL is one of them. But Tro getting hit down by
नहीं बचेगी ऐसे.
How did
फंसी
they get
पड़ी
out
है
of
वो.
the predicament? The blue zone is behind. Team Secret is
Zone
in
के उस पे
front.
फंसी
And
पड़ी
it
है.
seems like it will be easy pickings, like shooting fish in a barrel. Twisted Team Secret with 13.
Oh, accuracy.
Twisted Minds. They are also in trouble.
Short,
but
short.
He wants to trouble Team Secret. While they did pick up eliminations, they're looking good. But Jump's been lost. The man who brought the players back up. Toll Gaming on the other end. They are going down to their knees. The fight against Vitality not working in their favor. But Sipeng and Dix are also down. So Team Vitality, they have another challenge. That's going to be Lion on one end and Fluxo on the other. And Lion are taking an advantage on both the teams of Vitality and Total Gaming and finally put an end to their run on Solara. But Koja, he's going aggressive. He finds MT7 over there. Will not be able to confirm yet because he had to step out of the zone.
It's going to be crunch time right now.
क्या बचे जा रही है.
Because right before that glue wall comes out and Team Secret might have just broken open Lion's defenses. They get the pickup still, but it means resources have been spent and Team Secret in a very strong position to make it further. Joe now needs to poke it for safety and will do so for now, but PLS1 catches him from behind and that's Team Vitality removed from the lobby. 5 more teams remain. Team Secret, 14 eliminations and counting.
I'm seeing a lot of M60 being used. They are pummeling these bullets to their enemies.
Leon भी नहीं
Looking
बचेगा.
unstoppable. And that's what Team Secret has
Oh, AHL का push.
rounds after round. And Lion,
ले पीछे से लियोन आ गई.
big launcher coming in from Hacks and he puts the side of Fluxo out.
Cascading damages. Fluxo walked into a landmine and Lion comes in with a grenade launcher. And they are the ones that get to voucher off and reap the rewards of what has been sold by their opponents. But right now, out into the open is Twisted Minds and Team Secret waiting for the easy pickings, and they are done.
TS or Twist.
Now Twisted Minds up against Team Secret. A 4v3 in favor of the Vietnamese.
Team Secret, we're expecting for them to start off on group and game 1 itself here for Group B, but they figured out how the play was from every team, and now with 16 total eliminations, all their 4 players standing, they're looking forward to a booyah. What they did in the SCA Grand Final Spring, they want to start off just like how we ended up seeing Evo's Divine. It seems like Team Secret have found the secret recipe.
And this is the identity that has been missing, same as Twisted Minds, who are still looking for who they were back in their prime. But Team Secret roaring to life, led by some of the brightest stars. T-Quay up in front, none by his side, right the corner, dropped it onto the pass to narrow down the battlefield, exposing next on the list, and Diamond will be dispatched in just a moment. T-Quay around the corner, Team Secret with 19 eliminations and a booyah.
This is a big game coming in from Team Secret, and especially for Vietnam itself, to see their squad after just pulling off the SEA title, and now they're pulling it off here in EWC, here in Paris.
If there's any doubt whether Spring was a fluke or a stroke of luck, this should quell some of those questions. There's still more to be proven. This could still be the stroke of luck that people have been forcibly saying as part of the narrative.
Content
but if
creator
there's one thing there's a
होंगे.
constant is that Team Secret has some of the most gifted players. Since T-Quay joined the squad, they have been not the same, they have been different, but in a positive way. And in this case, even our side reporter, our colleague Yunsu, is going to be very happy with the turnout. Last time a Vietnamese team was in EWC, it was back in 2024 in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. That was PE Sports, but they had a subpar performance. They missed out 25. Team Secret they have a lot of weight on their shoulders, and they're starting it off good.
They are indeed. I think the game itself compared to game number 1 to game number 2 quickly changes, and you could see no desperation. It was just the holding off, the consistency, the commanding play that they had, right? We spoke about them. They were already at the edge of the wall. They could have taken a fight if they wanted, and they could have jumped the wall, gone towards Twisted Minds. They could have moved towards either the fight between mibr.los or Fluxo happening. They did not. They held their fort. They knew where the circle was shifting, and they gave that time. They knew when they strike for a booyah.
An eye for opportunity indeed, and that is perhaps the secret recipe. That's what's going to carry Team Secret all the way. But we also have fans from ag.al esports right here in Paris, in the arena. There's still a lot more to give, of course. This is just the beginning of what is going to be a fantastic and adventurous journey for our teams in Group B. But I think in this case, we have mibr.los, Brazil starting off strong in game 1. We have Vietnam on the board in game 2. Now we're looking for the Indonesians and the Thais to make a splash in the upcoming games.
While you're looking at the SEA, I want to look at the South Asian team, Straw Hats. I did have high expectations. They should have started off really well, but it looks like they find initial fights, eliminations to convert, but then instantly when they get a challenge or forced to take a fight against somebody, they're not ready for it. And that wary situation of the unknown, they're not ready for it. Same goes for SATUL as well. Individually, we saw Troll, the magic coming in on the sniper. He is just too sharp so far. But as a whole squad, they're just not in the position that they want to feel comfortable in.
And I think it's just about getting that polish, right? Making sure that all the cogs turn in the same direction. I gotta give a special shout out to ag.al esports.
Oh, yes.
They had some great moments off screen. We might not see them on full display, but they were the ones that brought forth the downfall of Fluxo W7M in game 2. Of course, that was instantly converted by Lion right after that, thanks to that RGS from the side of the LATAM representatives. But ag.al, this is a team. The banner might be new, but the players have been here for quite a while. Reminds you folks, they've had a couple of attempts, so I can't wait to see what they have left to show us. But for now, we're gonna get a room of breather, and we'll be right back with more Free Fire action.
And we are back here on stage. I'm Carol Bombshell. Happy to be here with my friend Barney. He's the man, guys. And we are here with Iago, the sniper for Team LOS, mibr.los, right, Barney?
That's right. Let's do this. Carol's gonna kick things off and ask us some very interesting questions. It's gonna be good.
Of course. Okay, Iago. So recent form hasn't been great. So how good does it feel to kick off at EWC with a booyah? Ok, a primeira partida, a gente sabe que vocês não performaram tão bem quanto vocês gostariam nos últimos jogos, nas últimas partidas, apesar da final do Free Fire ter sido muito boa para vocês, né? Mas ainda assim não conseguiram levar o título. Como é que é para vocês chegarem aqui e já começarem com um booyah aqui no EWC?
É muito bom.
Sorry.
É muito bom, é claro que todo mundo fica muito ansioso para jogar, então é muito importante a gente chegar com um booyah já, que já tira aquele peso, tira aquela ansiedade toda, e a gente consegue jogar bem melhor e ficar mais de boa tirar a ansiedade do corpo.
Okay, so for sure, start with a booyah, give us such a feeling of relax, and we can get more secure about our game, and we have also a good chemistry all together. So we start with a booyah at EWC. For sure, it's the best thing that we could have done today.
I mean, the synergy looks great, Iago. You guys look like performing really well. Let's stay on map 1, okay, because I want to talk about the final moments. You guys went up against Fluxo in that final showdown against your regional rivals. How did it feel after that map, realizing that you went up against them and you beat them? That must have been a nice confidence boost.
Basicamente, vocês chegaram no endgame junto com o Fluxo, então nós gostaríamos de saber qual que é o sentimento de chegar no endgame contra um time brasileiro também, ainda sendo o Fluxo, que é um dos seus maiores rivais na Liga Brasileira, né? Então, qual que é o sentimento de conseguir um booyah em cima deles?
Bom, primeiramente é muito bom, por conta que eles estão no final, é muito bom pra gente também, pra os dois conseguir a classificação pra final. E também é muito bom, né, ter aquela rivalidadezinha, tipo, do BR. E continuar aqui também vai ser muito bom e, se Deus quiser, disputar também com eles também.
For sure, it's really nice to have a booyah over Fluxo, but most because it's really nice to have Fluxo in the end game with us, because we are, in the end of the day, both of the teams are Brazilians, and we do get good points together, but also we have this rivalry back in Brazil, and beat them here at the EWC feels very nice. Okay, Iago, for us to finish, you are known in Brazil as Thanos because of all the championship rings that you have won. Would it add a AWC title take your legacy to another level? Você tá ligado que você é conhecido como Thanos no Brasil, né? Então, você acha que você garantir mais um título, especialmente do EWC aqui, ajudaria o seu legado a ficar cada vez maior?
Ah, com certeza. Meu legado já, com certeza, é muito forte. Ganhando a EWC em si fica inexplicável. Para mim já é muito inexplicável, mas é um grande sonho meu também, sonho do meu time em conquistar a EWC.
Okay, so win EWC definitely would add up at my legacy. In my legacy, of course, it will make me stronger in Brazil. I will have a stronger image in Brazil and in any another region that plays Free Fire, but this is my dream. I want to win a WC. That's definitely my dream, and I will help my team win a WC.
Well, after that first map, that dream can definitely come true. And with that being said, we are going to head over to a very, very quick... Well, we're just going to head over somewhere. We're going to come back very, very soon. Thank you so much for checking us out. Thank you so much, Iago, for joining us in this interview. We'll be back right after this.
It's the E-Cap, the EWC Cap, the esports World Cup. Okay, whatever it is, this is what happened in week 1. We crowned our first 3 champions, which means that we had even more losers. And God knows that I'm a loser. Wait, shouldn't this say that I love losers, not that I am? Can we fix this, please? But what happens when you lose? Well, you wind up here, the Boulevard of Broken Keys. Don't sing Green Day, don't sing Green Day. Every one of which represents a tournament elimination and crushed dreams. Losers live forever here, and if you listen closely enough, you can hear the voices of disappointed parents who said that playing video games is a waste of time. On the Valorant stage, 4 of 8 playoff teams were EMEA, and they managed to get 1 whole win. So move over, Europe, because the finals was 100 Thieves and NRG. That's right, all American, baby. These colors don't run, they soar. The Battle Royale of the Apex Legends final featured 20 teams, and no surprise, Team Falcons won. Wait a minute, no, they finished 8th. Sorry, it was favorite Team Liquid who... No, they finished even further back at 9th? Oh, because it was actually 2024 champion Alliance who... Oh, come on, who won? Unlimit? Sorry if I'm saying it wrong, but like most people, I've never heard of them. They beat every top contender to become the first Japanese team ever to win ALGS. This will also help them on the road to winning the club championship. Nope, never mind. That's their only team, and they're not even registered for the club championship. Still, my Japanese heritage is proud that we can produce both esports winners and heated toilets. Dota 2, or Dota Duh, as it's called here, started its first week of play with solid competition from... Sorry, actually, nothing of note yet. I'll have more on that next week. And finally, things were heating up on stage at Fatal Fury Wolf City. And I don't know if you're picking up on the theme here, but Dark Angel fought his way out of the losers bracket to top the regional favorites and get another win for North America. If only the football World Cup had been so kind. Well, guys, what is happening? 3 tournaments and 3 new champions, no title defense, no favorites able to compete, and all underdogs at the top? I'll tell you what it is, because I've said it before and I will say it again. This tournament is about the losers. See you next week.
Two matches are done for Group B. We started off hot with Brazil But in this second one, it was none other than Team Secret, Conchita.
Yes, finally. This is the Team Secret that I've seen grabbed that title of the World Series Spring, and I think the organization that they have, the way of playing is what gets them here and what gets them the booyah. It's about time, actually, because I was really waiting for them to perform really well, and they did not disappoint at all. I mean, look at that.
They definitely didn't disappoint. 7 eliminations there for Hong Am, and one team that I know you were keeping a close eye on, Lace, is none other than Twister Minds.
I mean, this team, I guess if we take you back sort of to the online, didn't look too great, okay? Not looking too hot, but you know, they had a roster change, bringing in Diamond and Exposy, and this was like almost caused a 180 for this team, and they are now in contention to sit in that sort of top spot. And I know me and Neptune were kind of like fighting on this before, like, I wanted to red Twisted Minds. If you saw that match 2 that they had to go through on the eastern side, I mean, they had an early altercation with mibr, they had to retreat and regather on the eastern side. But that was kind of only thanks to RRQ, who came in and like, oh, I'm just going to be a little bit of distraction. They were able to sort of get away. And not just get away. Did you see that zone pull once in that final circle? I mean, they were sitting pretty. I was bound to see sort of a win there. But look, they did only have 3 players out of the 4, whilst, you know, they're going up against Team Secret with, you know, their whole entire squad. But the ability to adapt and change from Twisted Minds, don't leave them out of the conversation, guys, because they came to play, even in match 1 with like their 14 elims. Neptune wants to talk, guys. I'll pass it over. He's just as excited as I am.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's one reason why I'm excited to talk about Twisted Mind. It's because they are different this time. Back then, it was just all aggression. They want to go for elimination, and now they're playing with survivability. And even with that, like, Jump was just, as you mentioned, just going into the sides until he reached Windmill, went in for a revive, and then even in the final phases of the circle, like, Twisted Mind is part of it. So this is not something that we often see from Twisted Minds.
Yeah, but speaking of differences, I'm actually a bit disappointed because we were hoping to see something more from Team Fatality, right? They are showing that being different is actually something that you can do to achieve a better result. But unfortunately, that's not what we see in the first 2 games. Right now, they are still kind of scattered at the 7th position overall with only 8 elimination points. That's kind of sad, actually.
Yeah, maybe they'll be able to turn it around. I mean, they are practicing something new. We were kind of hinting at it too. We didn't really know how it was going to go. Could have gone great, could have gone bad. But one team that did have a great performance there in that last match was Al-Ali, Neptune.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they don't really expect
We
that
want
kind
your
of performance,
reaction.
though.
Maybe stream
They're
bell.
not aiming for the booyah yet. They are just going for elimination, making sure that they are consistent with their placement point. And there was like, we're seeing a similar pattern here. For those who are taking the top of the board, just stay silent. Make sure that you can go for elimination. Aggression from a distance. That's what I can say. Go for those elimination out of the snipers. Just capitalize on that. I mean, Solar is one of that map. Though you can move fast because it's slide rails, but there's also a lot of elevation that you can work with to get all those eliminations.
I mean, you're talking about there, be aggressive from afar. Okay, all right, Vitality. I mean, you got 2 snipers. Maybe we'll start seeing that. One team that was able to actually be even more aggressive there in that second match was none other than RRQ, as we're going to be taking a look here at the overall ranking. Fluxo.
पहले पे Fluxo है, दूसरे पे Team Secret,
Fluxo, honestly,
तीसरे पे
they started off hot.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're getting back-to-back squad wipe. I would say it was still a slow lobby. I would say for the first 2 or 3 phase, but you've seen how well they hunt their opponents. They know the rotation of what will be taken or needs to be taken to choose their fight. They're not going in a little bit too careless at that point, and that has been the strategy of Fluxo right now. And given that there's not so much of the giants, the titans, I would say that's part of Group A. Group B, they are just wrecking it.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, we talked about that strong start from teams, right? Come out of the gate swinging, and that's exactly what Fluxo did. You know, 15 eliminations, I believe, in match 1, giving them that incredible strong start, and obviously showcasing that on the leaderboard. But like, let's with what's going on for Team Fluxo behind us. Like, you know, we talk about the mentality of players, right? How could you not be hyped having this whole entire crowd just like playing drums and singing your song? Like, it's absolutely incredible, and it's working for them. Like, can I have a crew that follows me around with drums and lights when I'm napping, like wake me up and stuff? Can I get a production? Can I get that organized? Thank you.
They were absolutely non-stop during the matches. Right now, that's why they're kind of calm, because they're being able to relax a little bit. But going back, we saw RQ there trolling with just 13 points. I know this is one team that you were very high on, Conchita. How are you with their performance so far? You didn't want them to start off slow. They did bring it back in that second match.
Yeah, one thing for sure is that I think we really need to reconsider talking about our favorite team in the beginning of the show, because there is some serious jinxing.
अब मत करो.
It happened with Aurora.
Name change करने में दिक्कत होती है चैनल पे.
Like, what the hell? From now on, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. But yeah, in all seriousness, I think RRQ.
नेम चेंज नहीं करना चाहिए.
उससे नहीं दे रहा देना. मेरा तो स्टार्टिंग से डेनिक्स लिखोगे तो मेरा चैनल आ जाता है.
वो चीज नहीं है.
स्टार्टिंग में मैंने डाला डेनिक्स.
जैसे मैं हूँ, मैंने YATESME live, YATESME gamer, YATESME gaming. अरे मैं भी वही कह रहा हूँ.
चैनल आ जाता है ऑटोमेटिक.
वो तो आता है, लेकिन करना नहीं चाहिए चेंज.
Getting a breather.
Well, but I do think that they're learning a little from the mistakes that they did in the first game, and hopefully they're just gonna keep climbing up the ladder. But for now, I'm not feeling it still. I am not. I mean, looking at the statistic itself, 9th position, 13 points, 13 elimination points. What the hell is that?
But then again, I mean, in Southeast Asia, they were dubbed the masterminds.
Yeah, the bomb.
That's a possible reason where she's coming from, studying their opponents and probably bring something in. But one thing that I want to see is, we've seen that in game number 2. Mal was left
मैं
alone.
Discord की voice on कर रहा हूँ, 2-4 मिनट में आ रहा हूँ.
Because it doesn't have the weapon. But on Clash Squad, where it's a different mode,
सुन रहे हो?
practicing those CQCs. So if we can bring
Discord
that
की
to
voice लगा रहा हूँ मैं तुम्हारी.
then that's one thing we can do. Just to make sure that they can
मैं भी जरा आ
survive
रहा हूँ,
and not
तुम्हारी
be caught
आवाज
off
आ
guard.
रही
Similar to what
अरे
we
तो
see
मत
now,
लगाना, तो नॉर्मल
especially
स्ट्रीम
with
पे
their
आवाज
snipers
देते
and
ना,
one
क्या
left
दिक्कत है?
behind.
मैं तो स्ट्रीम के बाद दिया अपनी आवाज तो म्यूट
Because
करके.
has Russia at the center stage, I do believe that Mal should be given a chance to take the spotlight in RRQ, because he actually got what it takes. And again, he's also one of the youngest players that is playing for RRQ. So yeah, I think it's just a great opportunity for him to really shine and do what he's able to do best.
किस चीज का मैच है? मुझे पता नहीं चला था मैं.
Throw up the first game too, because they did end up bouncing back on that second match. Now, as we're getting closer here towards the second half of their series, almost closer towards the end of day 1 of Free Fire at EWC.
अबे तो गेम तो सेम ही है ना, फ्री फायर मैक्स और
We do
ग्लोबल.
need to see a bit of a reaction. I know there's some other squads that we want to see a reaction.
सोचो फ्री फायर
See
खेलना
what
स्टार्ट.
happened there earlier on with Group 8.
अब वो जनता है ही नहीं भाई, तो बच्चे ढूंढे, बच्चे को मिलेगी नहीं.
Team RQ, Team Vitality, and Lucifer.
कुछ नया खेल जो भाई चले.
Currently looking as
अभी एक नया गेम आने वाला है.
कौन सा? पैलवर्ल्ड?
नहीं, उसकी तरह CS:GO के टाइप थोड़े थे. नहीं, उसकी तरह यार. अरे यार, बोल रहा हूँ मैं.
SAUL Esports. You gotta wake them up.
ये अलग टीम होती है क्या सब? ये जो पीछे बैठ खड़े हो.
ये वो है स्टाफ मेंबर है.
और चेक करो तो हैकिंग तो नहीं कर रहे हैं ना?
वो पूरा ये 12 टीम्स खेल रही है टोटल.
To pick it up because Troy
एक स्पाइक जैसे बैठा होगा.
मैं बैठा हूँ एक जगह. ये जब फ्री फायर वो हो रहा था, इंडिया मैक्स हो रहा था, तब बैठा था.
ये तो तब तो बड़ा आदमी बन जाएगा. तब मैं चिल्लाऊंगा ऐसे ऑडियंस से.
बस वो स्ट्रीम नहीं हो रही थी.
ऐसे चिल्लाऊंगा स्पाइक बिग फैन. फिर स्पाइक मेरे को देख के हाथ हिलाएगा, बोलेगा निकल.
ऐसे यो स्ट्रीम पे कैम ऑन है ना यो दोस्त.
फिर मैं बोलूंगा मैं जानता हूँ उसको.
ये देख सही लग रहा है स्ट्रीम पे, देख लग रहा है EWC प्लेयर यो ऐसे.
अरे भाई बड़ा आदमी लग रहा है ना. थोड़ा कैम थोड़ा धुंधला लग रहा है कैम.
so far is that you have to adapt. We ended up seeing Team Secret, who were very silent in the game number 1, instantly adapted to game number 2, and now they're all in, got their booyah already. Even Twisted Minds did not have a great start, but on the other hand, Fluxo. So far, this entire lobby of Group B Husky hasn't seemed wayward running away from somebody.
ये गेम के अंदर का ही है
We have slightly tighter margins.
अरे टैग का पहला ग्रुप था ये ग्रुप भी चल रहा है
top heavy lobby,
इसमें
which is very good because
Soul
I
और
think
total
even
gaming
up
index.
to the 7 and 8 spot, there's a pretty good chance that they can make it in the top 4 by the end of this evening.
माइक तो ऑन कर लूं मैं ये तालियां
कॉम
बंद भी हो गया
वो फाइट चालू होगी भाई
लेडी भाई स्पैम करते हो भाई चैट में
I
खचा
do, you know, want to
ये
bring up
फाइट
some
होगी
of the
भाई
points that
हाँ फाइट तो
experts
स्टार्ट होगी
have kind of put out on the table. I think, you know, RQ.
लो हो गया
I gotta say,
एसडीएल ओ एसडीएल भी घुस गई थर्ड पार्टी
third time could be the charm.
फायदा किल उठाओ ना भाई कोई से नॉक पड़े सारे
अब मर जाएंगे चढ़ा दिया नहीं मरा ओ मर गया
अच्छा रिवाइव हो सकते हैं इसमें तो है ना
एसडीएल ने एक किल उठाया टीटी7 पे
उठा लिया उठा लिया
क्वालिटी इतनी क्यों गिर जा रही है मेरी स्ट्रीम की
अरे बस किल उठा लिया 2 किलो
2 किलो उठा लिया ठीक है YouTube पे ज्यादा अच्छा क्वालिटी आ रही है क्या EWC के
forward to for Team Vitality because I feel like that is sort of what is going to light the fuse for them to come online. But in this case, it was completely extinguished in the mid game, and now it begs the question of
EWC अरे आ रही है भाई मत दे मानते ही नहीं चलता है
अरे ये तो ऑफिशियल नहीं चला नहीं
where else is Vitality going to able to kickstart that engine?
One thing that we know where we are heading here for game number 3, that's going to be towards Purgatory. Where's heaven or hell? It's time for teams to show up, and maybe as 7.
अरे देखने ना मैं वो गेम भाई
एक से रुकना लगा रहा हूँ
यहाँ क्या चल रहा है ये कौन सा गेम चल रहा है
टोटा चल रहा है ये ना इसमें सही आ रहा
Mention ag.al esports, they rise to the occasion, picking up eliminations. Yes, like how RRQ did, it's also time for placement points.
Points integral if you want to talk about potential tiebreakers at the end of the day. Very rare occasion, but it's always good to have some insurance policy. And in this case, I'm looking forward to see if teams are going to go to Moat House, because when we saw Group A, no teams actually like to go there. You play around the perimeter on the southern side of the Moat House, but if I remember correctly, memory serves. Twisted Minds should go north side, and in this case, they have company in the form of Mia Corp.
Now, Mia Corp have not had a great start so far. They're looking around 6 points, similar to what Straw Hats. I think these are the only two teams that are a little bit of an offset compared to the entire 10 lot that we have, who are looking closer, tighter, as you already mentioned, in the fight already breaking out between these two. Looking at it, Twisted Mind should have the upper hand, and there it goes. Diamond, he already gets the opening. And that's the very first elimination, but a quick...
Straw has now showed up the compound of Mia Corp, who are just vacating that spot. But you gotta look back at this moment when Ma'ao gets the setup to his team, finds two, but
यार
immediately the response came in from Mafia to get even more damage done.
Wait, Mal? He takes the zip line, heading back. RRQ, he did not get the revive. Yeah, this was a very risky approach. Shanky, if he knew that was happening through the zip line, he could have taken him down. But Mahal making a run, Shanky has spotted him, but I think he will be able to manage. No! He gets blown! Oh! Just in time!
Points for now, barring as we excluding the placement points.
भाई टोटल गेमिंग ने मेरे साथ 8 किल कर दिए सही है
हाँ वो RRQ को मारने वाले थे but वो revival हो गया.
And I can't believe I'm saying this, Lucifer. When we came into today, and I thought that EVOS is going to be the team that struggles the most out of the 3 Indonesians, but that was not the case, right? EVOS, even though we've only won Booyah, did finish top 4 in Group A. And right now, it's Team Vitality who are struggling.
मेरे में क्या इशू होता रहता है?
I think we were having this discussion, right, when we were talking about maybe
तो और तेज नेट चाहिए क्या मुझे?
They also themselves were telling us that maybe it was just an experimental phase down in SES Spring, and it actually looks they are able to deliver results.
ag.al बाहर खेल रही है भाई जोन के.
Here on the EWC stage.
Apart me, actually didn't want to believe it. I thought that they were.
We did.
I thought it was an excuse.
Yeah.
Apparently not.
Vitality ulta
No
zone में जा रही है.
excuses for Twisted Minds. They almost had control of it, and this time they're taking an approach to a couple of the isolated
Vitality के
players
तो
from
सिर्फ
Straw
दो ही
who went
बंदे
all
हैं.
the way to Motows. Not
चढ़ गया ag.al के ऊपर.
अबे ऐसे 12 तो मार देगी, दो ही बंदे हैं वो.
मेरे को तो नहीं लगता.
दो बंदे हैं Vitality के, नहीं कर पाएंगे इनका.
Drop of the reminder, so Ali will have to halt their rotation for now.
अबे यार मेरे में इशू हो रहा है.
And Team Secret, they're not going to wait. Riding off the momentum of Game 2. They had a fantastic...
he's also spotted. Went to the vending machine and he.
क्या हुआ?
Eliminate हो गए.
Who seemingly had an advantage, but falls in the hands of PLS1 as he locks in an ace.
TWS को देख रहे हैं भाई 11 किल
अभी
team, the 6th point in this game and the first team to wipe out our individual rushes, running at his teammate. That is the kind of support that we need. That is what defines.
चटनी भाई अरे भाई साहब गोलगप्पे ले भाई वापस ले इसमें ठीक है ना
1% आपकी आवाज स्ट्रीम में जा रही होगी ना तो दिक्कत हो जाएगी.
Chester picking up a couple in his name. Drop the player quick on. The confirm. Rawan with that Winchester picking up a couple in his name. Drop the player quick on.
भाई मेरा नहीं चल रहा है ऐसी की
The confirmation as well. Team Secret after finding a full-on wipe, they have another shot.
WhatsApp चला रहा है मैं स्ट्रीम देख रहा हूँ साले की.
Right in front of them, that's going to be Fluxo, the roaring fans right here in Paris, and now they have a challenge in front to try and push out Team Secret. It's not been easy from game number 2, the pacing, and especially after what PLS1 did. And look at his Team Secret.
Potential 3-way fight here, Team Secret.
मेरे में तो लैग ही होता जाता है.
having a bit of a compound to work with. Team is better than 2. Fluxo could take this opportunity to get a couple of free points.
That was one of the smart moves coming in from Fluxo to make sure that they go behind the sniper and not give him position. And now Twisted Minds have the advantage of it because all the players from Team Secret have been crunched. They've been forced to be together, and Twisted Minds like this. Diamond on the flank. He spots the players, but Fluxo, KO. He puts Diamond down from afar.
Total
This is the
team बची है.
लो रिवाइव हो गया. TG 8 kill करके बैठी हुई
The
है.
stage zone, they could play a gatekeeping, but they wanted more. And in this case, thankfully for Team Secret, nothing of value was lost. Even the vehicle wasn't completely wrecked, so they could rotate up to the high ground. And in fact, right now, because the circle doesn't hurt as much just yet, Team Secret could set up shop on this high ground and actually scout out the area before making a future rotation. There's also a zip line that they could utilize in times of emergency, but the decision will be made to cross past the northern side of the map and get around both Twisted Minds and Fluxo.
This fight has been going back and forth. Twisted Minds trying to kind of itch towards Team Secret and Team Secret as well. It happened in the previous game, but right now it has to.
And Team Secret finds a
टॉप 4 चाहिए गाइस ग्रैंड फाइनल्स के लिए. कौन सी टीम लेगी?
वो तो कल के बाद होगा ना टॉप 4 का सीन.
नहीं आज में ही है.
Nice. They should have no problem bringing their teammate back. There's a vending machine right in front, right in the safe zone as well, and they can get there on time. Seems like everything is laid out for Team Secret to potentially make it to the final stage.
2 दिन का होगा 12 मैचेस
Could be a back-to-back. Not something that we've not seen. We've already seen in Group A. That happened. Maybe Team Secret tried to replicate the same. Game number 1, they're very close. Game number 2, they couldn't. They got taken down. But now, if they fight Team Secret and put them down, the challenge.
2 दिन है 2 दिन 12 मैचेस है टोटल. आज सिर्फ 2 टीमें एलिमिनेट होंगी दोनों ग्रुपों में से 2-2 4 टीम टोटल.
तो 2 टीम तो बाहर जाएंगी.
हाँ.
ओए मौका था भाई. हो गया.
Now are back for revenge. Gio with the push on forward. Gluon goes down, but
मेरा तो नेट ही नहीं आ रहा. मेरा नेट ही नहीं आ रहा.
The team who's putting a lot of efforts after getting their very first booyah here in Group B. That's going to be mibr.los. They did lose out a player, but they already have 8 eliminations. Playing inside the circle, but Koja with the dually puts the last player of esports down. It's not working for them yet. They've not found their winning ways. These young guns are missing their player, their captain Prince, and they are not
for Team Vitality this time, racking up double digits in terms of
total gaming 5 पे
elimination. As Yago clean up the remnants of Team Secret. No more back-to-back this time. 5 teams remain. Fluxo looking incredibly healthy. Same as Vitality. As both teams have gone on a tear. But there's a very good chance that we see RQ
total gaming
Causeway and into Total Gaming.
RRQ को मार सकती है.
MT7
RRQ finish खत्म.
Right into the fire. And of course gets the burns to a
क्या बुया ले सकती है TG.
That was a very quick save coming in, and that's the reason I was talking about how crucial Mafia is. He lets them all rush through and back again into the game. All four men standing, Total Gaming ready for this final four standoff. mibr.los are the only team who have a three-man playoff that they have to go against the four lot of all the survivors we have.
Damage diye
Will be the
bande
first time on the
काफी.
world stage that a team from India gets a booyah, and how close are we to that, Lucifer? Dreams can come true, and we're taking a step at a time. Total Gaming up against Fluxo on the other end. VSS doing a magic there. But Shanky has been brought back up. The nades now come true. Riptide Rhythm unleashed. Yago in danger.
Nice
but
nade.
still putting up a bit of a resistance to pin down the members of Total Gaming. But they're
Arre,
in the face
Votano.
of mibr.los. General takes out water. The members of TG cut down to just 3.
General bringing it down to a 3v3, troubling Total Gaming, and now Total Gaming with the zone closing in. They are forced out of space. mibr.los are able to hold their own. Aztec gets taken down by Yago with
Oh,
the
nice sniping.
coming through. Shanky
Oh.
a little too late to just find a knock there. And mibr.los
Acha marta,
for
acha marta.
India, who wanted to see if there could be booyah, they put those dreams to rest for now. And mibr.los are not stopping there. Yoga again once more.
पर बढ़िया फाइट ली भाई, मस्त मारा.
Picks up on Budzin. That's going to be on Fluxo. And mibr.los might be looking forward to another booyah. And Yago already at 7 total eliminations.
And Code just speeds up that process. The nade takes out Pops. And unfortunately, Daze is now going to be in the crosshairs of MI.
Loss versus Vitality.
Loss versus Vitality.
Lost.
BR are on it with the rush as well. Looking for a conversion. General leads the charge. Team Vitality getting
Loss ले जाएगी.
picked apart and everything set up.
दूसरा booyah है ना?
mibr.los with the second booyah.
भाई MIBR हर जगह बढ़िया
Is
है.
here in
काफी बढ़िया है.
EWC for the title, taking it away
Dialog में
from
भी इसकी अच्छी
SCA,
team है.
taking it from any other region because they've been looking for it. They have conquered the world stage once, but EWC is something that they've been missing for a long time. And what a game coming in from mibr.los, especially Yago. A man to hold his own on the sniper when players are rushing. 8 total eliminations on his own.
Insane performance. Last year, when Los was on the cusp of victory, they were the only team from Brazil that had a chance to win Champion Rush. They were denied. But that time, Yago wasn't with them yet. And he could be the missing piece. He was one Magic Squad. That FFWS Global Finals in 2023. He was the one that showed that Skylar still has value when everyone else has forgotten about that character. 2024, he got dispatched, not a part of Fluxo. MT7 took his spot and won that trophy. But right now, under the banner of mibr.los, he is reminding everyone who he used to be.
This is just incredible to pull off like this, and especially when we have teams who want to make sure that they get their very first booyah. mibr.los already having 2 of their own. And look at it! It just seemed like point and shoot for him. That was the POV for us. It didn't look like he had a bit of an hassle. He had to look for opponents. They were right in front, just put up the scope, and the players were taken down one after another. And you can see the happy faces of mibr.los. That's another victory that they get for themselves. A booyah that will be written in their overall rankings to put them on the top of the charts.
They've technically already won the tiebreakers in a way, right? 2 booyahs is not easy to achieve, but if there's a team that has put ahead, I think we just found it. mibr.los, really just incredible performance, right? We were looking for teams to hit the ground running, but we are also looking at the same time for them to close out strong, because that what matters the most. And I think mibr, they have the recipe for both of their category.
Yeah.
They hit the ground running, and they've closed out strong 3 games in a row.
Right now, see, we've done with almost the halfway, if you want to call it. Yes, we have 12 games in total, but at least for day 1 of the group stages, Group B has played their 3 games. They should have understood the whole lobby. Now, if you take one team out, there's 11 other teams that they have to understand of what they need to do better off. And let's hope they start doing better, because right now, they are taking a quick breather, and they will be jumping back into the lobby. So you guys don't go anywhere.
We bought Esports World Cup up.
We're between some of our matches right now, so I decided to run up here and catch up with Nonstop Gaming. Talk to me a little bit about what it's been like co-streaming here from EWC 2026.
Yeah, I think the setup is literally crazy, and the vibe of the whole stadium is literally good. And this is the first time, like I streaming, this time I selected for the co-stream, and this is the first time. And you know, the 3 Indian teams are there, and hopefully they will do very good. We are expecting a very good matches. Let's see.
All right, now tell me what it's been like being in Paris this year.
Yeah, I think, I mean, might be it's about we are lucky that the Bastille Day, I think yesterday we saw the Eiffel Tower and the fireworks and the many, yeah. There is a very good show, and we have been like, we are very lucky to have the EWC and the same thing happening in the, I think, around same date.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, you can be biased in this question, okay?
Okay.
Who is your favorite to win the whole thing here for Free Fire?
I think for sure, I want that our team will win. So we have 3 teams: ag.al, ag.al Gaming, and Team Apex Gaming.
Yep.
So I don't for Team Apex Gaming, it's not a very good start, but hopefully they will come back tomorrow, because today we score only 41 points. But let's hope for best for the ag.al and ag.al Gaming, because I think they did a very good start, but we have 4 games remaining. So let's see.
We still have not only 4 games remaining in this, but lots of gameplay left so far in Free Fire. So we'll have to see how everybody does. And I don't want to take you away from your chat for too much longer. So thank you so much for chatting with us. You know, enjoy the rest of the series.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, it's Tyson Kachita here to bring you more of the storylines from Free Fire. And I think Buriram United Esports better watch out, because MIBR just got their second booyah.
Yeah, that was amazing. 3 games and 2 booyahs. That is quite something for MIBR. But also, we need to talk about Team Secret, because for a second there, I thought this was going to be their game. They wiped out Al Ahly, and then they wiped out Twisted Minds. And if I remember correctly, they won the FFWS Spring 2026 by getting consecutive booyahs, back-to-back booyahs, and I thought it was something that they would actually achieve again on the 3rd game, but unfortunately that wasn't the case, because MIBR are surely the strongest contender now.
And I mean, Team Secret and Twisted Minds kind of are forming this little bit of rivalry, if you've noticed. In those first couple of matches, it was them in that final zone. Then in that previous game there, they had an altercation in kind of the northwestern side as well. But it looks like Team Secret just have that little extra secret sauce to be able to take out Twisted Minds, and they don't seem to get their footing.
Yeah, but speaking of MIBR, once again, that last circle, girl, that was so intense. That was crazy intense. And to see that they're now at the 4th place with 31 points, 18 elimination points. I think you're right. Buriram United Esports better watch their back. I mean, we still got 3 games to go. Anything can still happen, right?
And if we've seen it in Free Fire. So, you know what? I feel like it might be happening. Can they get a 4th? I don't know. It's going to be a little bit exciting, but to be able to achieve that sort of mean in the starting rounds, I mean, MIBL, y'all better be watching them, because 3 booyahs is coming their way. But of course, I know we're very much itching to get into those next matches. Lucifer, do you think MIBL is going to be able to achieve that 3rd booyah?
Yes, there could be another opportunity here for MIBR. They've been looking really good. And the action that they brought in, they've put themselves on the top of the charts. A total of 62 points, 37 eliminations. And as you guys already pointed out on stage, that maybe Buriram might have to watch out. Yes, Evo's Divine do not have to be worried about, but a close competitor very soon.
Yeah, very close. In fact, mibr.los was actually a big competitor to BRU last year in Ria.
Yeah,
you know,
there you go.
It's coming together, baby. It's coming together. That's what makes Free Fire such a competitive and fun esports title. Sometimes, and that's why it's hard to escape the allegations that, hey, we predetermine some of these things. As I gotta say, it's so intertwined right now. You can step on any part of the machine, and something will fall into place. But one thing that has yet to fall into place is where do we place RQ again?
I'm not sure. I think we have to ask Conchita as well as Neptune again, because they've been the ones who've been talking about it. And hey, I don't know if there's a jinx, but maybe something that we will look later towards. But I think there could be an opportunity where RRQ now recover, right? They've had an idea what Team Secret is doing. mibr.los on the other end on a spree, looking forward to Yago of how he's been sniping across, and Fluxo almost getting to all the top 4s in the final fights.
And we did say that the second half of the matches for Group B theoretically should be ID favorite. Theoretically should be RRQ and Team Vitality that gets put under the microscope. Again, Nextera, Kalahari Nextera, it starts with here. And honestly, I think on Nextera, I look at RRQ.
Total gaming or mibr.
Number 1 placement stats, but it's good enough, right? It's good enough to suffice for RRQ to give us something to be happy about. I think same with Team Vitality. Lion going over the Intellect Center, less desired spot, but we also have S8UL against Straw Hats. Actually, Straw Hats are very spread out.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate, very early clash that we're seeing at Deca Square happen right now. And Straw Hats are already looking at the bottom, and it seems like it could be trouble. But as we look at our stats, we can see SATL are the ones who are they are also close to those bottom 2 that we've been talking about. And teams need to now start worrying, because as we reach the halfway mark, if everybody doesn't start jumping in to figure out, if they start losing points, it is trouble. They'll miss out on opportunities. They'll miss out to getting back towards the top 4, or at least staying in the 10, because if they're in the bottom 2, they will be eliminated.
I think at least in this case, we saw a bit of a disengage. That spot was taken over by RRQ as they fill in the void. So now RRQ is Straw Hats' problem. SAUL escaping with 1 remaining member. Pincer tech coming in. We get a quick replay of this earlier clash that we saw on the radar. And unfortunately, SAUL just running slightly slower. And the mini Uzi can make a lot of difference in this early game. And unfortunately, these 1v1s didn't really go in favor of SAUL. Straw Hats coming on top with 3 points. 4 points, in fact.
I think there was a better rebound between the players of Straw Hats, and especially their abilities coming into play. But right now, the action keeps striking. Straw Hats did not have enough time to get back their resources to go for the fight. And RRQ, they had enough time to pick up the players. They confirmed 2 of them and get to elimination.
Total gaming ke 2 bande.
Rhythm, and that is going to be his defenses blown open. And with that, that's going to be a 3rd elimination. And you were talking, we were mentioning, where do we place RRQ? This is where, always looking at eliminations, they somehow find it. Placement points is something that they have to add on to this aggression.
I mean, they're the masterminds
forever.
right? Maybe they have some grand plan that we haven't figured out just yet. And for a good reason, because if we figure that out, we probably would know the results. Maybe India Multiverse RRQ. Somewhere out there in the wild, they have it all planned out. But Team Secret is a team that started off slow, but the past 2 games have had great performances. Maybe not so great in Game 3, they did kind of fumble in the middle, but we also got to give props to the teams that took them down, right? mibr.los was quite the force, Total Gaming as well, finishing 4th on that map. As I say, Total Gaming,
मतलब TG जैसे आई है तो उसका पहला है लैंड टूर्नामेंट उस हिसाब से हाँ वही तो TG उस हिसाब से बहुत अच्छा खेल रही है फर्स्ट टाइम के हिसाब से
Vitality also picking up
PUBG की टीम ऐसे कोई नहीं आजकल सारे गेमों की टीमें बना के बैठे हैं एक और में सारे गेमों की टीमें बना ली
the player who just got revived just got picked mid-air. So Fluxo have another effort to add on to go to the vending machine, but Mafia, the man who picked up the right in front of him, Riptide is being used, but Extra, he's better because he had the max 7 and his teammate as a backup, and Mafia's down. So Total Gaming having this approach did not work for them to get another additional elimination. However, Straw Hats seems like they're recovering. They've had 5 eliminations so far at the start of this game.
And the revives keep on coming, right? We've seen so many bodies drop, so many points acquired by different squads, and yet we still have 44, 43 again. It's gonna cycle. We're gonna cycle through these numbers for a while. As Jump finds a trade with him and the T-Quay, Team Secret, losing our number just a little bit. In the last game, they had to rely, they couldn't rely on PLS1. And here comes the savior. Diamond has that. PLS1 denied the pickup. He's still going to come in onto it. The shoulder is short. And 40-9.
कौन से मोहरा launcher?
This time will not let Team Secret walk away scot-free.
Unfortunate. 2 different angles in Team Secret. They get troubled. TQ as well as Non7, they're the last survivors, and I think he might be taken down. Nan7 is also spotted. Diamond with his AUG puts him down. But the trouble is not done yet because Miyacorp, they entered into this fight. They want a bet in terms of elimination.
Unlimited token के हिसाब से.
Great game so far in the start. 3 games done. This is game number 4. Miyacorp need to get back to those eliminations. Need to get back to placement points. And they've found 3 so far. And Twisted Minds.
Token चाहिए. Token चाहिए होंगे. 400 token, 600
I
token.
know he is worried and spots the player while he was completely unwary of another team being
पड़े मिल जाते हैं और बाकी टच करने पड़ते हैं.
Instantly the boss puts him down and Miyacorp suffer a loss. But
मैं तो
another team who
YouTube
suffered
kick
a
दोनों
big
पे.
loss is going to be Team Secret who are now swept out.
The boss now finds a second challenger, which is Nick. And he turns around and finds Jasper. Another body slam in the face of Miyacorp.
ZX Den
is
Explorer.
on a one-man mission. John Wick style here. Can Nick find him though? I mean, the boss could still do some heavy damage, and all with the absence of his teammate. So can you imagine the amount of chaos they could rain on Miyacorp when the rest of Twisted Minds
Loss और SATL की लड़ाई
complete that
बजेगी.
rendezvous in that area? mibr.los playing on the outskirts this time at the coastline.
क्या कर रहा है?
ag.al in front of them, and
Troll
Rick
क्या कर
B
रहा है?
relays that information. The Dynaucleus spawning slightly
Troll,
ahead,
troll.
confirming the
हाँ,
presence of
चलो,
no
देख
one.
लिया.
Well, now they can focus
कर दिया,
on
कर
the
दिया.
members
Troll
of
कर दिया,
SATL.
troll ने.
Oh no, big trouble. SATL Esports already receiving big damage. And mibr.los are closer than they think. Rick B, he puts the player down. He knew what was happening. So he had already gotten closer to the haystack. And as soon as SATL decided to maybe go for a flank, the player instantly gets shut down. And Troll and Jack are now stuck in a building. Bunny way too far to help out. Troll will be taken down. Jack will be very soon found out. And Bunny, all he can do is run away, go for a revive. But Jack, he's thinking he wants to step out. Maybe look forward to an approach if there is save. But I don't think there is going to be a save button here for his teammate.
लोग जब चिल्ला रहे होते हैं.
Try to buy time for Bunny.
भयंकर.
And as long as Bunny
नहीं
can
नहीं
get out and get
अरे
the revive, his job is
नहीं
done.
नहीं अरे क्यों नहीं सुनाई
Jack
देता बहुत
putting up
देता
a
है.
valiant fight. The result goes
होता
over
है.
to mibr.los. 10 eliminations
बहुत
already.
वैसा रहता है ना.
Just short of minute 7.
पर दिखता तो है आसपास सराउंडिंग में कि लोग हैं.
In the previous game, who clocked in 9 eliminations on his own.
ऐसा नहीं होता, दिख जाता है भाई.
So far, I mean, mibr.los have been outclassing Fluxo, right? I mean, as much as again, I'm big fan of Fluxo, big fan of the legacy. Recent times, mibr.los, ever since the loss in Riyadh last year, has really fueled something in them. To see the fire burning. And not to mention with Yago's addition to the squad, this team has powered up.
Big time. And we might be looking forward to another opportunity for mibr.los. We saw the stage also talking about the same thing, but one team that I do want to see who have opportunity is going to be Lion. And now this spotted Joel. And he was just out in the open, running across these tracks. Like, he owned it. And Lion instantly put him down. In this game, Lion also has 4 eliminations. Seems like they are trying to move in the direction of finding a lot more elimination. But I'm surprised that we've not yet seen any elimination from Gamez or Games King, because he's been the MVP for their team. Rather, it's been Hacks who's been picking up the weights on his shoulders.
डिक्स को भी मार रहे हैं. पकड़ लिया डिक्स को.
Right? In this case, they could start with
डिक्स को पकड़ लिया डिक्स को.
solid confirmations onto Team Vitality. Makes it 5 now. Again, you call back to Games Kings last year on the world stage. He has been a pillar of his squad. One of the youngest players in the entire tournament, but also one of the most gifted long-range players. In the meta where snipers were sort of shoved aside, and he was the bright star. Right now, everyone is looking at him, and all eyes are on him, and yet still leaving more to be desired.
Total Gaming के Leon Joker, Leon से लड़ाई हो रही है.
Total Gaming up to 2 launch pad available to disengage from Lion.
Oh, nahi.
Getting hit upon by Total Gaming. Shanky puts Joker down, but quick clear
Chalo,
coming
बचा
in
लेगा
from
Shanky.
Gamez. That's not going to be a confirmation. Oh, finally it is.
बच
So they
जाएंगे.
do also lose
बचा
a
लिया
player. So
Vota ने.
even Total Gaming had to go for a quick revive. And Vota is the one who did that. Lion on the other
Official
end,
की
they
उससे
want to
देखिए
chase the
ना.
player who went for the revive. The vending machine.
Oh,
He gets
बच
spotted.
गया.
Winchester in hand for
पकड़
Hacks.
लिया.
He gets taken down with a rush coming in from Vota. And Vota all alone
उसे
trying
नहीं
to
देख
hold
सकते
himself
हम.
off. Now Games King, he's closer and
अबे
Vota
यार,
will
kill
be
नहीं
finally
आया.
taken away because Joker from afar with the sniper puts him down.
Good attempt there from Vota to
EWC के ऑफिशियल चैनल होने
pin
चाहिए.
down for the rest of his team to kind of
YouTube चैनल से देख सकते हैं, हिंदी में नहीं देख
he
सकते
gets
इंडिया
revived
ऑफिशियल वाले
regardless.
से.
So TG back to full force. This game's- and so, I mean, Game 3 was the game that had the faster pace.
Yeah, it
now,
did.
Now we're slowing down a little bit. I say we slow down just because we still have 39 players in the lobby. We cycle through plenty of reincarnations at this point. We've only lost 2 teams, Straw Hats and Team Secret. Everyone else pretty healthy.
This lobby of Group B itself tells you of how different from Group A this entire set of teams are. Because there, everybody was very hungry for elimination. But here, everybody wants to read each other, understand each other, because they all know elimination is not the biggest threat, but it's about going into the finals directly. And you mentioned about it. Miss that survival stage 10 games and walk into the finals, prepare better strategies and be ready for it. That's what they're aiming for, and that is getting difficult for some of the teams to figure out, even though we are at
total gaming.
Even when we look at the numbers,
total gaming
so far some of the accolades of these players, right? Yago, 3rd in line with the most eliminations. He has 13 in total.
बहुत ज़्यादा बीच में ले
and
लिया.
9 of the from the previous game. Total Gaming now facing RRQ. Wota, who just came back into the lobby.
RRQ आ रही है क्या form में?
Again. And Total Gaming's members cut down in half. Shanky might have to hold the fort here.
चलो बस तो गई total.
And they're not in the best of the position. Aztec, who just went in for the revive, his position's compromised. Fluxo are going in for the chase. Shanky, he can't do anything because if he steps out, then another casualty strikes. And there it goes. The players in mid-air. Al-Ali, they pick out Wota once more. So nothing is working here for Total Gaming. Aztec, the man who went for the revive, he will also be taken down. And the bell is not ringing in the favor of Total Gaming. They were closer in the previous game, but in this game, they're still not able to figure out what works in their favor. But Vitality, they had to figure out, made a jump, but right into the crosshairs.
तो shield gun से मार रहे भाई लोग
already, and they're looking forward to a lot more. And with the VSK expose, he gets one more added to the team.
Bit of a distraction there that could give TG a breather to pick themselves back up and kind of put the pieces back together. But 11.5 minutes in-game time, there's really not much space to work around as Aztec is brought back.
फायदा नहीं है revival
looking
का.
at 13 eliminations, RQ sitting right across. And also Fluxo in the vicinity as well. We did see the circle earlier on, centering around Boxing Gym and Deca Square. Where mibr.los has basically hunkered down on the southern side of the safe zone. It could give them a good entry, get a couple of points under their belt, but I'm looking at Al-Ali again.
Yeah.
Last game was the only game that they didn't make it that far, but now, in the 12-minute mark, Al-Ali will have a good chance to prove themselves once more.
Right now, before Al-Ali, we have Fluxo, who have another challenge. They've always looked closer to Booyah, but they've never converted yet. This is game number 4, match number 4 that we're witnessing, and they still are trying to figure an approach where they'll be successful. But look at Lion. They knew that the flight with Fluxo will not work out in their favor. They wanted to rather be in the circle, quickly take the vehicle. Whether it gets destroyed or not doesn't matter at this point. Get to a compound, call it a safe haven so that you can fight out here on Nextera, because as we still see 12 minutes of the game, it's about to be 13. The circle's now slowly about to close in the next 30 seconds. And every team is going to be forced to fight out, and it's getting closer to Deca Square. And if the fight goes to Deca Square, it's just open lands.
I mean, that's a gate crash if I ever seen one. But Lion keeps themselves safe, safely tucked in a compound that will keep them afloat for just a while. But this rotation of Twisted Minds might put them in front of mibr.los. Total Gaming in a fight with Lion. The jaws of the Lion clams down. Total Gaming eliminated in an instant.
So yeah.
This is the reason we were talking about the compound, and Lion were very smart to act about it. Total Gaming did start off, but it did not work out. And now, after Total Gaming, it seems
SATL ये वाला game अच्छा निकाल ले तो अच्छा हो जाएगा इनके लिए, safe हो जाएंगे और
the fight is a little too far that's happening, but they're still able to hammer them down. That tells you of what Lions are also looking forward to, a recovery of a game. But recovery is not yet happening for Mia Corp. Fluxo find the last man, and they put an end to their run. And now RRQ also jump into this flagship battle of taking down SATL. On one end there is Lion, on the other end RRQ. Bunny gets hit, Noor right now in trouble, and Jack becomes the last man standing. Can he be the Jack of all trades? I don't think that's an opportunity for him to ask or even deliver on in such a small position with so many teams still surviving.
Did you say there's a risk of fights getting caught out in open areas when the circle shrinks, and it's currently the reality that some of these teams have to deal with. As the circle starts closing in, the blue will force the movements of Lion straight into RQ's compound. The
kill भी निकाल सकता है Jack वैसे.
But bait nade from Captain Dudes sets it up. Bob's also firing from behind with support from Gio on the high ground.
Ole!
No more.
Jack at least gets one in that mix, and additional elimination for SATL Esports, but Cobbs with that M60. Brilliant stuff being done, but SATUL, they're not safe yet. The last man standing, Jack, he was initially kind of seen by Fluxo, but Fluxo, as the zone's closing in, they know they're not ready for this fight with Jack. They cannot just try to pin him down. They just jump front, and Jack, he is peppering them down. Bops is also knocked. 2 players from Fluxo in trouble with a quickly recovery. Having the Thiva as an advantage does help you in the nick of time.
But you was able to find him at the very edge of it, and that was enough to take him out of the equation. As we go down to these 5 teams, but all of them have the full squad left standing. Right out in the open is Fluxo and RQ ready to receive and challenge them up front. Abai leads the charge, and instantly RQ finds himself in the thick of it with a couple of knockdowns. Runs also steps up to the occasion. And the completely eliminated. And so does Fluxo.
RRQ, we were mentioning about them, talking about them, and now they place themselves in the top 3. This is what they wanted. They had placement. They did not have placement. But Yago, stop this madman from mibr.los. He is just shooting players down like they're standing still targets. One gets confirmed. And now mibr.los in trouble as Maal finds General. Rigby close by, Rawan getting closer. Yago has to be the saving grace. He has to pull them from the jaws of death from RRQ.
And I think it's very doable. Hawk could also be the X factor. Rigby gunned down again by Rans. Simokes is there. Al-Ali with his save. If they make it far enough into the game, they can be one of the contenders. And here they are in top 3. With less members to work with, but enough to threaten RRQ and give mibr.los some breathing room. And this seems to be the reality right now. Those glue walls need to be taken care of because they need line of sight, and Hawk is making it incredibly difficult for RQ to focus on the task at hand. So Rez gets sent in to eliminate Hawk from the equation, and now mibr.los makes it closer to the compound, but Ma'ao, great on his shot and right on the money, focuses down General, and mibr.los down to just 2.
It's trouble. They tried to tread the line as fast as possible, use that distraction.
जीत गई RRQ. आगे फॉर्म में RRQ.
Still did not work out. There was only 1 knock, and Abai and Rans are in front of the game. They're already super aggressive. Rawan also finding the very first booyah for Indonesia.
And the captain holds the hands of the young blood and leads him to the first booyah on the world stage, and that is the exact motivation that you need for RRQ. And unfortunately for Ali, another heartbreaking loss in the final circle. And it's starting to show something that needs to be kept in check, because we've seen them in the top 4. We've seen them at the podium, at least for the round itself. But it's about closing it out the game. We've seen the exact same performance from Dragons Esports last year, when it's not about the rotation. They're pretty smart about it, but it was about how you take those fights. And in this case, they are outgunned by their adversaries again.
As you can see, it seems like the plan over there in the last fight did not go in that direction. It could have been something else. They did not have to, or they did not intend to take the fight with RRQ. I think that's where everything messed up, and that is the reason we see the player a little bit heated up. That is not what we wanted to do. RRQ were already busy with mibr.los. We had to just time it perfectly, and if Al-Ali did it, they could have another opportunity for their own booyah. But RRQ, we have to give kudos to them as well of how well they held themselves when the fight instantly turned from mibr.los to somebody they did not even think that was so close by, and they held themselves. And instantly on one end, how Fluxo, the fans have been roaring for so long. Now instantly it turns around to RRQ fans, and they're happy.
Yeah, I mean, again, you say that you have to stop Yago, and Yago was stopped in a different way, right? By eliminating everyone around him. But again, when mibr took the opportunity of a distracted RRQ to make that rotation, RRQ, they understood the urgency, right? They took care of Al-Ali as fast as possible and made sure that they still have eyes on the rotation of mibr.los, and that gave them more than enough resources and intel to get this booyah.
Now, with Al-Ali already performing in such caliber, right? This is not a game they have to be upset about. Yes, emotions are high because everybody understands that every game is going to be crucial. Even Seven was mentioning, right? Consistency is going to be very crucial when you're in the group stages, especially if you want to make it to the grand finals directly. And I think that's what Al-Ali thinks, and that is the reason we see emotions completely high at this time, especially of a game so close to a booyah. Nobody wants to miss or mess it up, and I think it does happen. That's what RRQ, for example, the first 3 games we barely saw them. 13 eliminations with the only explanation of RRQ being in the overall ranking. But now the booyah tells that there is chances of making a comeback. You have to just reset.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day is how you kind of finish the run, right? There's still chances left, and speaking of chances, we're gonna give this team some room to take a breather and readjust themselves.
19,420 points है मेरे total.
Stay with us, we got more to come.
फोन में ऐप डाउनलोड कर रखी है, उसमें डायरेक्ट दिखा देता है. दिखा देगा शायद.
तो आरआरक्यू को लिया ही नहीं था.
मैंने ले रखा था.
पॉइंट दिखाता कहाँ है ये तो बताओ.
हाँ देख रहा हूँ मैं भी. पता नहीं यार. रैंकिंग नहीं. फोन में दिखेगी शायद. फोन में दिखेंगे पॉइंट्स.
Because football is over for me.
Oh dear, let's not talk about it anymore. Let's see how accurate you can be in this golf simulator. If there's one thing that I know, it is being a dad, gaming and golf. And so this is my third one. Let's see your accuracy.
पांचवा मैच होगा ना अगला.
82.3%. Luti, let's see if I can beat you.
I hope for you. Okay, Barney, basically now it's your turn, and in life you are doing two things. Host teams and playing golf. So hopefully you're gonna do better than me.
I mean, you're not wrong. If I don't beat you, I'll be really upset. I'll probably have to quit golf forever. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. Here we go.
It is your time.
It is my time.
Okay, that looks a little bit better than me, I have to say.
Yeah, the sword goes back in the sheath at 90%. Barney Banks absolutely bringing this one home. It's okay. You can focus more on golf. I'll focus more on football for now. But for now, Lauren and Lace, it's your time.
I hate football.
कौन सी टीम टॉप 5 थी इस मैच में? RRQ, MIBR.
Barney, you had to show off those golfing skills. But for every
और कौन सी थी? टॉप 5 देखते हैं एक बार.
Getting closer. Yago has to
force. Safe zone.
Did not work.
Also steps up to the occasion.
RRQ,
and the Jitters
AHL,
completely eliminated. And so
Fluxovi.
They be forced to fight hard. That's happening. And
the circle starts closing in. The Lion.
Brill, they wanted. They had placement. They did not. Rigby
to threaten pieces back together. Safely tucked.
Put an end to their run. And now RRQ also put an end to their run.
And that.
And as fast as possible, use that distraction. And Jack, he is peppering them down. Bobs is also knocked. Two players from Fluxo in trouble with a quickly recovery. Having that Thiva as an advantage does help you in the nick of time.
But you was able to find him at the very edge of it. And
तो मैंने इसमें चुनी थी Fluxo,
at this point, I think
MIBR,
even the pressure is not facing him anymore. Because there's so many times in previous competition when he's going solo, he will just be going down that quickly. It did happen a few times from the earlier games, but now because he's the one who's bringing that energy to the table right now, I think there's a lot more that we can see from RRQ.
Please don't talk to me about RRQ.
Oh no,
they heal lows. Girl.
No, honestly, Carol, I was concerned because I really thought that it was going to be another booyah for MIBR. I was like, enough!
It would have been the third one.
Yes,
Remember,
the third
at
one.
the beginning of Group B, I asked, can anybody maybe mimic what Buriram? And we were saying it, honestly, in a joking manner. Because nobody expected to see what happened in Group A here in Group B. And Carol, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. The fact that that squad got so close, Brazil in Group B, they're looking good.
मेरा नेट इतना कमजोर तो नहीं है यार जितना इसमें हो रहा है यार. Sad life.
Oh my gosh, they are doing it amazing here at EWC. And the funny thing is that during the grand finals in Brazil for Fire World Series,
Get those booyahs, because right now it's working out for that squad. One squad, honestly, consistency. We were talking about it earlier, and we're seeing it once again here. Not only with the step up of RQ, not only with the performance of Brazil, Ali. Oh, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean. remind one team that is keeping the balance of both placement and elimination, and it's bringing themselves higher in the table. Hopefully it's high enough to get to that top 4, because there's a lot who's taking the top 3 right now, and the lead is increasing.
Yeah, but one thing that I did realize post-match was that there was an obvious tension at the Al Ahly table. Maybe there was some sort of miscommunication. Maybe there was a couple of bad calls between the players. So that's something that they really got to watch out for, because consistency, it has something to do, obviously, with chemistry. So we have still 2 games left today, and yeah, let's see how they handle the stress now.
It happens, right? You don't want to see teammates starting to maybe not go the same path in the first day. To save that for the last day. Actually, don't even save that for the last day, because then that will be finals. But the overall ranking, Los right now over Fluxo, Twisted Minds as well has been forming great. RRQ, as we mentioned, Ali, all the squads are doing great. But talking about some tension out there, we got the Fluxo fans behind us, and I know that there's some tension between those 2 Brazilian squads.
Definitely there is this competition between Fluxo and Los. It's like, how can I say, it's romance that never ends. Yes, because we got Iago. Iago used to play with Bops, Jill, and MT7 right now plays with the Fluxo, right? With Muxino as well. And Iago used to be their sniper. And then after the Fire World Series back in 2023, Iago left the team, and right now they got MT7, which MT7 is the best sniper in Brazil. And probably that makes so mad that right now Iago is stepping up here at AWC, and man, he's the best player today.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, Iago, when last time we saw him, he was just making highlights of his own. And I would say even when MT7 stepped into Fluxo, he's also making them win those fights. So I guess with Iago, MT7 rivalry, or let's say for the team rivalry, they will be very close in there on the battlefield. There's still a lot of storyline that can unfold out of this, but judging from the scores that they managed to maintain right here, even before we end this day for this Group B, like the lead is pretty much sure enough for mibr.los. So I don't know what miracles will happen for the other teams who's trying to catch up, because imagine, RRQ guys, I know they just had RRQ, they just had their Booyah, but they're still far away, like around 27 points.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty hard for them to catch up, and I cannot deny the fact that maybe today would be the day for the Brazilian team. So Carol, I think you can smile and be happy about that just today.
Is that good for you?
At least I'm admitting that today is really the day for mibr.los as well as Fluxo. But then again, if we're talking about the rivalry, I'm not really sure. One thing for sure though, Taylor Swift should really write something about those 2, MT7 and of course Iago. It is a love story, a complete love story of Free Fire.
Or maybe Ariana Grande. Thank you, next.
Yeah.
They're trying to find out who's going to be big brother, who's going to be little brother. Iago definitely doesn't want to be little brother. I mean, we know his stature is going to be outside of this frame. From all these squads, I mentioned it earlier at the start of Group B, and we're just so close to it. I want to see where you guys stand on this. Does Los end up getting another Booyah and goes for that 3, or is Fluxo gonna stop him? Carol?
Man, I think Los is stronger today, so probably I would say they would go for definitely for the 30 Booyah. And one thing very specific about Fluxo is like they got this nickname in Brazil, the boogeyman of endgame, because they only go for endgame. What they are doing here today, going for eliminations, get more points for eliminations, that's not something they used to do in Brazil, because we like to say they do like skinny Booyahs. Because it's Booyahs with not a lot of eliminations, you know? So it's surprising to see Fluxo have this kind of performance here today, but definitely Los look stronger.
Hey, I like that input. Now, quickly, Neptune, is it going to happen or is it not going to happen?
I don't know, because so far for Fluxo, they did manage to get in the top 2 without any Booyah, but if they can steal it away from mibr.los and equalize it like 2-2 before the final, by the end of this day, then there's a lot of things that can happen at this point.
And Conchita, for you, I want a yes or no. Which one is it going to be?
I think I'm just here for the vibe. I'm happy with either of them. I'm just here for the drums, the music, and of course, I would be happy to see any Brazilian team take this.
Let's go. Well, let's see if it's gonna happen. Husky, Lucifer, what do you guys think? Can Brazil, especially Los, can they get that third win, third booyah, or no?
Well, I personally think yes. Vamos, go all the way. You know what? Screw the third booyah, get the third and the fourth booyah, right? Let's close it out. mibr.los all the way. It's a day of celebration for Brazilian teams. Fluxo, mibr.los, you name it. They are here to light up Group B. And now it is for every other team to prove that they are worthy of stepping up to the occasion and giving mibr.los a worthy challenge.
I think Husky's
Total Gaming की कालारी की rotation बहुत अच्छी
has
है.
been Vamos. He is just rooting for
अगर वो
every
execute
Brazilian
करे
squad
तो,
out there. But I think
execute करे
there's a
तो.
mix that RRQ just brought in the previous game, game number 4.
नहीं,
And that
Santa
one
Catarina
reason
उतर
tells
रही
me
है.
that there could be a change happening in this game of
SATL भी आ
Kalahari.
गई.
Open lands of the snipers Haven and Nest that
अच्छा,
they love to target on
confinement जा रही
Yago.
है.
He's already been doing great and maybe he
और
opens up
Fluxo
but
की
Mahal,
बजेगी
he's
Vitality
also
से.
finding his winning
नहीं,
ways. Conchita and
Vitality
Neptune, they
cancel
mentioned
out
about it. So maybe RRQ, they get another booyah back to back.
I mean, we've highlighted Yago for the entirety of the Group B matches, right? Most damage dealt, most eliminations so far, 21 for him alone. And then they have Haone has 15, so 36 eliminations shared between two of them. Well, guess what? Yago is on the map again. But for now, Total Gaming against Lion. Unfortunately, in the 1v3, Shanky stood a no chance.
Knock किया था Shanky.
So 3 points for Lion.
अबे
Wait, what just happened? I mean,
अबे खत्म.
I think it was lost.
ओ भाई माफ
yeah,
किया.
this is why, like, even they were mentioning on the desk, right, that hey, that was
माफिया
a
का
heated
एंगल तो
argument.
बहुत
There was
अच्छा
something
है.
of
दो
a
किल निकाल
disagreement
सकता है
between the
easily.
players, and this is what happens when emotion run high and you are not ready to kind of bring
अरे
a reset.
तेरी.
You instantly lose upon a good game that you are able to deliver. And now
Kill,
Alon
kill,
going out so early
nice.
is a big
Full
surprise.
kill,
I think on top
easy.
of that is also perhaps even
अरे
when you
ले,
get the
टपक
reset,
के
you
बच
get
जाएगा.
a very unfavorable drop, right? They get wiped out by a team like mibr.los. That has got to hurt, so that's double the damage on the mental side. And this is the different part, the secondary part of competition at the highest level, right? We're not just looking at skill, we're looking at the mental aspect, the psych. How do you kind of recover from a loss? And I think, at least in this case for our Ali, they have plenty of time to talk about that.
But on the other end, Lion, while they did put and push a loss towards Total Gaming, now there's the Indian counterpart of SATL. And they put the player down quickly. That's going to be Bunny acting on hacks and instantly confirming as well. So Lion, who thought that this position is completely clear, now there's another challenge. There's still one player here at Santa Catarina who is not yet giving his position away. That's going to be Games King. Games King. Can he change the fact, or does he call reinforcements here for Lion and look forward to something big? But something big that's done is going to be from Team Vitality's Koja. 4 eliminations already, and I think while we were talking about RRQ, while we've been talking about mibr.los, I think Vitality need their end of a bargain chip where they can coin it and call themselves a one booyah game at least for today.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they actually got off to a decent start, right? They took out 3 members of mibr.los, who just got brought back, so that they did slow down one of the front runners of this lobby. They themselves now on the receiving end of a couple of lead, courtesy of their own comrades from Indonesia, RRQ. And runs a newfound confidence from the previous game, right? Like, just able to lead him in the battle and kind of just reinforce the fact that he is one of the best. This is kind of what we always need from some of these newer players and their first appearance on the big stage, right? Just the fearlessness. And that's what Rans has brought. We gotta check out here.
ये elimination देखते हैं.
mibr.los
अरे
and it didn't even
अरे उसी fight पूरी.
We just dropped. We were about to shift from the flight path, and this is what happened. Hawk, he's still trying to hold it off, but there's too many players from mibr.los, and now too many players even storming Lion in this fight. They're trying their best, but they're unable to hold it off, and that's still a challenge coming in from SATL. Yes, they've been dabbled a little bit of a damage, but they're able to hold themselves off. Hacks again will be confirmed. Jack picking off one more, and Joker, he is going to be the last player who also gets picked off. And SATL Esports off to a start that they needed to eliminate the whole squad. It finally happens for them here in Kalahari.
On a map that usually has a slower tempo, we lose 2 teams 4 minutes in. And the volatility of this lobby continues to rear its head. A hit list
MIA वाले तो गिरेगी.
Vitality
एक ही
onto
बंदा
Geo.
बचा है.
Team Secret, we will revive for now, but they won't have time to kind of get the plans together with Twisted Smiles dropping by. And Diamond is on the hunt. Couple of Team Secret players nearby. Diamond might get sandwiched by Exposy on the low ground. And Huang Nam getting tagged as well. Nan7 dropping down to join with the rest of his team. Twisted Minds actually keeping quite the distance as they call down the storm.
Whenever a fight between Twisted Minds as well as Team Secret happens, it doesn't go in anybody's direction. They end up having casualties and eventually both of them get eliminated of the lobby. So I am a little wary about this action. Twisted Minds are actually gearing up, getting closer to Team Secret. The position is known. And especially for Team Secret, the trouble is they lose PLS1 and then there is a lot going wrong. But right now, PLS1 the back 7 puts the bars down. He tried to make a jump and it doesn't work out. And now he changes his weapon to take players from afar, pushing the side of Twisted Minds back, and Diamond had to go to the vending machine, revive his players, but he's completely surrounded. He cannot do anything. However, he puts PLS1 down, but before going down himself, he gets a whack to PLS1 as a confirmation.
Yeah, greeted out a little bit. Would have been better to use that primary, but at the end of the day, still getting the job done, and at quite a hefty cost. Total Gaming, on the other hand, Shanky will need a bit of time to patch himself back up. We have Troll on the other side of the open field with him, ag.al having one of the better starts today. Same as TG, both with 5 eliminations. And in fact, TG did a lot more spread out. Mafia taking some shots as well, but also doing some reconnaissance. Make sure that the rest of his team can follow him. There should be confirmation that Troll is nearby.
After their game number 1 and 2, I think finally we are seeing a little bit of an change in Total Gaming. They're picking up eliminations a little more proactive. They're looking a little more confident. A little mess up happened at Santa Catarina, but we can brush that away. It does happen to everybody in the initial drops, but they managed to recover. But SATUL, they managed to recover even bigger. And that's the reason they are not caring of who's in front of them. And yes, they don't know who is, but they will look forward to eliminations. They're a very elimination-hungry team. And so far, they even pick up one player from Total Gaming.
I think proactiveness is the key word here, right? A lot of teams, if you play not to lose, you're eventually going to lose the teams that play to win. And it's going to be an oxymoron for majority of the time, but it has been a reality, and that's why, you know, winning these gunfights are eventually going to be the cornerstones of getting that booyah and maybe a trophy lift at the end of the journey. And the end of the tunnel right now for Team Vitality is that they are in the center of the circle, right? They have Bayfront that they can control.
Oh, refinery जा रही है TG.
A map like Kalahari, having Bayfront under your influence is actually a pretty good area to kind of park yourself under. What surprises me is that RQ didn't immediately go to Refinery. Right, they're actually playing on the outskirts of that area.
Both Refinery and Command Post are almost looking empty. More teams are taking control of it. They're letting others try to get close by. Surprised to see that, but at least at Shrines, it seems like the fight keeps going on. mibr lost. They thought this is going to be a stronghold, but right now, having the position of the verticality, using the terrain advantage, they're trying to put them down. But General answers back, puts shots down. Who is also being taken down? It's up to Extra and Nil, but they're afar. They're so on top of all that they cannot be able to easily help them. But Nil at least trying to hold ground, and he's going to challenge Yago. He's been the man with the big rifle, the long barrel, and he delivers once again. Will not let mibr.los fall down.
Not at all. And at the cost of no casualty, should be able to retrieve Rigby in time before he bleeds out. So mibr.los with 8 points under the belt continues with a full squad. Aztec gets brought back for TG. Fluxo now under the storm, having to deal with the Miyako West. Quite made a bit of noise in the previous game. Didn't make it until the end, but does draw some attention to them and reminded that they are also part of the competition here. But in Santa Catarina, it's going to be the hard one with the stronghold basically controlled by Fluxo. Especially Bobs here, who is going to take that move. Join on Butches in.
SATUL भी आ गई third party के लिए.
Carol mentioned, right, they're the boogeyman, but they're a skinny boogeyman, if you would want to talk about. Are they going to get closer to that? Fluxo have always been a step in front of the race for a booyah, but they've never gotten closer to it. They've always missed those last opportunities, even if they have man advantage. But right now, they are troubling Miyakov. However, Kappa and Biblik, they put players from Fluxo down, returning the
SATUL बढ़िया कर गई SATUL.
Watson has to go on this 1v1 and win it out. MT7 on the other end. He is troubling SATUL. A little bit of a wayward approach coming in from Fluxo, but they're still able to hold off Miyakov.
Yep, and it goes back to what Carol mentioned earlier on, that MT7 was regarded one of the best snipers from Brazil. today still outperformed by Yago, but has some moments of brilliance, and that was one of it. Fluxo is beaten.
दोनों के रिवाइव जा रहे हैं.
The roster
मिया का पकड़ा जाएगा, फ्लक्सो पकड़ा जाएगा, पकड़ा गया.
But there was no way out of this one.
वही फॉर्म में आ गए
Jack and
SAT
Trove
में.
with a couple of eliminations on their own, and MT7, the star of the show.
ये बार-बार साथ क्यों आ जा रहे हैं घूम फिर के?
But the vending
फ्लक्सो और
machine
मिया
right in
के
front of them,
बंदे.
but with multiple members of Mia Corp gatekeeping that area.
लेडी भाई तुम्हारी SAT मार दिया अब.
Is always problem. You end up sending your resources in two different directions, and if both of them fall, you are left completely alone. And that's what's happening here to MT7. Mia Corp on the other end, it was only Fluxo they had to fend off. They were able to. They got the player back up as well. So MT7 in a very varied position. He'll not be very comfortable in even going towards the vending machine. Kappa right below him. And he and his entire squad is relying for MT7 to get closer to the vending machine and get that revive. And he does. He gets Bobs. Kappa could have held the vending machine. But he doesn't now. MT7 is an opportunity. Runs right to the weapon of Nyx. And having, come on, an SMG in such a close range, you can't do anything against a weapon that plays the sniper role.
Yeah, there was no way out of that one. I honestly thought that MT7 would just hold that spot and try to take a 1v1, right? So probably didn't have intel of where the second member of Mia Corp is, but at least the captain is brought back to lead the team in person again on the field. Team Vitality with 5 eliminations and 4 of them from Koja. Yago able to sneak through, but that shot ringing through the eardrums of mibr.los. It's gonna give them a bit of intel of a secondary enemy nearby. And it's important information for mibr.los because they will have Twisted Minds to contend with in just a little bit. As the Indonesians now might clash, and the last time they met in Kalahari in EWC last year, it was Vitality that denied RQ of a trophy lift. Now it's gonna be some of that rematch. It feels like deja vu from a year ago.
Team Vitality, they've been getting closer to the titles but never been able to lift it off. And this could be an opportunity that they might have to write on their own. Yes, it is tough, especially in stages like this. At least when we had the last EWC season, it was 18 teams, but now the competition's even tougher. You just put in one group, you have 12 games to play, and Team Vitality has still not picked up enough to get to the top 4. So the distance is more compared to RRQ. If you talk about it, RRQ are even further down because they messed up in their initial games.
Yeah. I mean, both teams have come second a couple of times, but RQ has been there more often. It's definitely a sour spot to be in. Mia Corp actually being in a pretty good position in confinement. There is the blue that they are baiting in right now, but the Nautilus used on the southern end just to cut through the open field, but completely avoid Fluxo, who are on the lookout.
पर TG के अभी चारों जिंदा है.
Put them in a spot. If they continue that rotation now, they could end up intercepting Team Secret.
TG के चारों जिंदा है. TG के जब तक चारों जिंदा होते हैं ना, तब तक कुछ भी कर सकते हैं TG. Okay, SAT वाला TS की लड़ाई बजेगी.
They've been taking proactive fights, but this time now they're getting a challenge, and that's going to be Team Secret taking a jump as the circle shifts dead center. All the teams are getting forced to be close to each other. 9 teams in total, 12 minutes so far in the game. 36 players still surviving. Fluxo have only 2 eliminations, but we spoke about this Team Secret. They were the ones who tried to go in for a bang on a surprise, and TQ is able to deliver. He's trying to put the players down. He wants to look forward to another player from SATUL, but the glue wall blocks it. Jack will be able to recover the player, but can they find another knock? No! Jack and Noor say no to Team Secret. Start confirming them 1-1, and now Team Secret are in trouble.
Team Secret
ऐसा लगा SATUL पिट गई.
And entered the shooting gallery of SAUL. Bunny
क्या पीला है.
SAUL have more members.
मुश्किल खत्म हो गई.
3-4v2 players went and none. Getting cut down, Troll sliced them into ribbons. And SAUL with a hell of a performance of Kalahari, 13 points and counting.
That was big to hold off, and this is the reason I said here on Kalahari, watch for SATUL esports, and they are now delivered. They slice and dice through Team Secrets, but now they have another challenge, is their own counterpart. That's totally gaming. It seems like they're deciding to move in 2 different directions. And
SATUL पकड़ लेगी मिया को.
Best for here in Kalahari. In the meantime, we spoke about it, RRQ, right? Their initial games did not work out, they messed up, but right now they've taken the lead on the overall ranking compared to Team Vitality. And Team Vitality, it feels like they've been holding far too long and not getting a lot of points, whereas RRQ, they've been delivering.
I mean, if you want to talk about a team that moves faster overall, it's always going to be RRQ, right?
Correct.
They sort of get the engines warm out slightly faster and a bit more consistent, whereas Team Vitality, it really comes
Fluxo
down to what the
fast
weather
game.
feels like.
नहीं
It gotta be a sunny day if you want Team Vitality to put out some numbers. And so far, sun still shines as Joe takes off Yago's hit. But no confirmation on that just yet. The rest of mibr lost now. And again, Intel of multiple teams in front of him, and look at this bird's eye view. This is going to be a nasty fight, waiting to implode on his own. Diamond even popping a shot onto Bunny, but again, no confirmation there for Twisted Minds.
Look at how the circle moves. It's just moving center to the entire big zone itself. It's never giving an opportunity for any team to
सब
take
मार
an advantage.
3 टीमें मार रही है मिया को लॉस फ्लक्सो आरक्यू 4 टीमें मार रही है
That's going to be Miyako. Already at 12 eliminations, they want more, but all of them are getting stolen by Team Vitality. The lead is being done by RRQ.
चार
but the ones
टीमें
who
मार
are
रही
getting the
है
elimination is Team Vitality, along with mibr.los.
Yeah, RRQ work hard, but Vitality
एक ही
work
घर
smart
पे
in that exchange. And Miyako, rightfully so, written out of this
भाई
game.
ऐसे ड्यूल फॉर्म में इस
Twisted
मैच
Minds,
में
this is a slower game for them, right? 4 eliminations and counting. You have Vitality on the second floor, and that blue wall is the separation that prevents chaos. And RRQ continues to put on the numbers, this time with help from
PG का तो zone ही नहीं है
taking
भाई
down the members of Fluxo. Total Gaming shows up, getting blasted mid-air as Aztag loses the exchange to Bunny, and Bunny will get his third.
Total Gaming, they don't have the zone. The zone's closing out. They don't have enough space to work with. Whereas ag.al esports, they've looked so confident in this very game. Fluxo, the last man standing, gets eliminated outside the zone. Did not have anywhere to move. MT7 going out. The entire squad of Fluxo is done for. This is one of the first games where Fluxo do not make it to the top 4. This tells you how cutthroat it's become right now as the zone's shrinking. Mafia also gets eliminated. Players from Total Gaming are falling, but ag.al, they're able to hold their own, and now they've gotten into the same building as RRQ.
We're talking about potential dreams. Total Gaming
सही
came
है
close in top 3. Now SAUL in the same position, 6 teams remaining, and they are ever so close to that first big step. Of course, for Total Gaming, they have
भाई क्या लड़ाई हो
less
चुकी है
slightly lesser. Yago removed as well by a grenade from Twisted Minds. As Vitality, they're going to share the same building as Twisted Minds themselves. And now we see that clear separation, but guess what? Where the circle is moving, the Indian teams, they're going to have a good chance to rotate.
They have to be quick on it because Vitality, they're already troubling mibr. Lost from getting ahead. RRQ on the other end, they'll be able to spot ag.al esports if they're quick in their run. But Twisted Minds, I really like how they're holding the comfort. So Vitality, they might be in trouble in case they decide to step out because Twisted Minds, they're already ahead of the game. They're going to be the ones who will try and defend the entry. mibr lost. The last is Survivors, General and Rigby. Can they do something different? Yes, they do. They take the roof approach, make a jump, but they do get damaged a tad bit. But ag.al, while they change the building from RRQ towards Vitality, the bolt maker being called, they have the challenge of the zone shifting. They have to quickly make a move.
Yeah, and for mibr.los and Twisted Minds, they are going to be one of the cause dips on the center. Koja taking down Deuce as well. In the meantime, SAUL, as much as they're slow on the road this time with that rotation, but they didn't make the more passive choice to play from behind, and that could work in their favor as TG now bleeding now. Shanky no longer able to be rescued.
नहीं वोटा भी नहीं बचेगा
about to be constricted, suffocated by the blue. And RRQ as well, removed from the equation. Rigby with confirmation onto
Loss के
Water.
दो बचे हैं, Twist
We're
के
almost
दो,
down
Twist
to
के
the
चार.
final 3 teams with mibr.los barely hanging on with 2
ag.al
members
भाई
left.
भूया ले
Yeah,
सकती
somehow
है
they jumped on the roof and they're still surviving. And thankfully,
से top 4.
RRQ ended up becoming a target for everybody.
ag.al
Every team
भूया
started
को
shooting
के
them down. Everybody got bits and pieces of RRQ in that fight to eliminate RRQ. But how this fight concludes is going to be very crucial. 17 seconds in the clock, and the entire zone is going to start shrinking in. No team wants to get out except for mibr.los, but finally a challenge coming in from Vitality. General is down. Rigby is the last man standing. He doesn't have enough space. ag.al on the other end. They're moving further away.
And SAUL exposed, he actually controls
अरे
well.
फंस गई
And so is
बीच में फंस
Jack.
गई ag.al
Vitality now joins in on the
ऐसा
hunt,
रखिए
and
लेकिन
SAUL might just meet an early demise here unless they can wrestle their way out of this. You have Diamond to take care of.
Diamond तो जाएगा,
But
Diamond
he's an
जाएगा,
anchor
अपनी
for
बचेगा.
Twisted Minds, barricading himself with the blue wall, knocked down by Jack. And even
भाई
for Rigby,
ag.al
he still wants a piece
भाई
of
तुम
the
कब
pie
खेलोगे
in
देखते
case
हैं
he
यार
ever gets removed but SAUL, they held strong just for
जिंदगी
now.
साथ नहीं देती
I don't
यार.
know how they did it, but they are able to
ले,
for the time
SAUL
being.
अब
But the
फिर से
zone's about to
फंसेगी.
close and they had to make an exit. Use the glue wall, but now it's a very small compound that they have control of. There's nothing else. Every other team
Loss
is right in front
में
of
तो
them.
एक ही
Who have
बच
a
रहा
better
है.
position, a
ये
better
तो शायद ही
compound. Even
अपने
Rigby, who's the last man standing, has an entire compound, a window through see-through. Whereas Vitality now, it looks like they are the lords above. They're standing on the rooftops, having vision of
SAUL
everybody.
फंस रखी है. सब टीमें मारेगी ना.
Bunny down, troll down, confirmations following one through. Twisted Minds with Exposy picking up confirmations on SAUL.
चलो दो तो सही है, दो जिंदा है
Bringing
तो.
down to
ले,
their
एक ही
knees.
बचा है.
Jack going down, the last man standing. Vitality
भाई
and
लॉस
Twisted
को
Minds
कैसे बैठा
join
हुआ
hands
बंदा.
together to take SAUL down.
Only Nor made it to safety, but Vitality knows
Vitality
exactly
ले
where
रही
it
है,
is.
यार.
Twisted Minds wants to beat them to it though. It's still an extra point for themselves. The boss on the low ground. It might have been a fatal error as Nor now books it.
ओ सही है, कोई नहीं मार रहा. नूर को कोई नहीं मार रहा. सबकी लड़ाई बची हुई है. अरे अब आ गए. अब फंसेगा नूर. Vitality और Twist और Vitality जीतते हुए.
Take down Vitality, but the
फालतू.
Hornets will not be
चलो, जीत
denied,
गई.
and Team Vitality
ले गई
brings
Vitality.
themselves a booyah.
What a game coming in from Team Vitality. We were talking about it, right?
भाई ये
While
गेम बढ़िया
Brazil is
खेला है
taking
SAUL
all the
ने.
initial games away, it seems like Southeast
बुया
Asia
की close थी, वो तो
finally
फंस
finding
गई.
their ways to victory, especially Indonesia. RQ to follow now with Team Vitality. Brilliant game. I think even the rotation, the position they were holding in that final fight, as we saw, we spoke about mibr.los, right? Them taking the rooftop, but unfortunately did not have the numbers. If they did have what Vitality did, looking like the giants about the Davidson, the Goliath fight that was happening, it could have been mibr.los, but Vitality played it to perfection in that final fight.
And we even say that this feels like the deja vu from 2025 back in Riyadh, right? Where Vitality was the one that denied the trophy leap on Kalahari, which was a map that people usually look at RRQ, usually look at Evos, and again, it's Kalahari that delivered them their first booyah in Paris.
Much needed. A lot of expectations on Team Vitality in general. Everybody is looking forward to it. We spoke about it. Asia Invitational, they took it away. That is one title, but they need the biggest of all titles. Esports World Cup 2026. They're here in Paris. They do not want to miss the opportunity. And finally, they've delivered. We were talking about the comparison between RRQ and Vitality. While Vitality were initially ahead of the race, RRQ picked up with their very own booyah. And now Vitality have gotten a step closer. We have to only take a look at the overall rankings, which will tell us, has Vitality beaten RRQ now?
Yeah, I mean, this is a trophy that is the only missing piece of from the BRU cabinet, right? But for everyone else, it is the first piece of what is going to be a complete puzzle of that golden road. And for the Hornets here, they've had quite the round. I mean, even you look at the faces of the Twisted Mind members, they know they've been bested. This was a game that was incredibly hard with how Team Vitality played out that final circle. When talk about the hint about the double sniper, and we saw that play out as well when they took care of SAUL.
Very crucial. I mean, for SAUL to hold their own in a position which is not great at all, that compound is very small. I mean, if anybody tries to hold their position there, they're bound to be taken on. Thankfully, maybe Vitality did not have launchers or anything because, yes, a lot of resources got expended there because multiple teams were present and a lot of fights took place. SAUL also, you have to give it to them, they held their own in such a small spot, took down the player of Twisted Minds, and I think that was also the reason Twisted Minds did not have NS reinforcements going into that final fight with Vitality. If that reinforcement was there, maybe Twisted Minds could have gotten their own booyah.
Yeah, and with that being said, we are approaching the final round, but anything before the final round deserves a bit of a breather, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in just a bit with another Nextera round.
Yeah, Lenovo. Wow.
He thinks he can come in here and play my game. He knows nothing but go!
Tyler Wine, you're done.
wasn't lost, but it was Vitality. Being able to get that booyah, we were wondering when it was going to happen. It finally happened.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a back-to-back for Indonesia right now. Earlier it was
PG को
RQ, now
संभालना
it's
पड़ेगा last
Vitality,
game.
and we were talking
वरना
about
बाहर हो
how
जाएगी.
well Vitality is adapting to this gameplay, and hopefully this booyah would motivate them because there's only one more chance for today for them to be able to grab all those points. But again, we've seen all those adjustments, we've seen all those plays, especially in the final moment, how they isolated each player of their opponents so that they can secure this big
मैं भी
B.
सोच रहा था.
And one of the
अबे
teams that
छठे
was
पे
able to get a
अच्छा
top
इस मैच में
three.
थी ना
We have to talk about it
6
because
किल
the
छठी
jump up that this team
पोजीशन
has
6
been
के
having
5
has
11
been
पॉइंट
great.
मिल
And I'm
जाएंगे
talking about none other
ऐसे टीवल सेकंड आई है
because this squad, I gotta give you a breakdown, okay? First
नहीं
game,
सेकंड पे
5th place, 2 eliminations. Second,
पॉइंट मिल
8,
जाएंगे
6
सही है
elims. 7th, 2 elims.
मैं देखता हूं
6, 8 elims. This time around, though, they got a top 3. And boy,
20,000 पॉइंट तो होने वाले होंगे
eliminations.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like a slow slope, but they are just climbing up. And I'm
मुझे तो
really
पॉइंट से
loving
मतलब
that
है पॉइंट
there's
मिल ले पॉइंट तो कर लेता
a
हूं
few of those adjustments that they're doing right now so that they can secure more elimination. And again, Kalahari is one of those maps where and you can get those
फोर्थ मैच से मुझे RRQ के MIBR के फ्लक्सो के पॉइंट मिले हैं
not a lot of teams will be able to manage that. But what I'm seeing is a pattern we're seeing not only for Team Vitality as well as SAUL
अब
is
इसमें SATL थी
slow from beginning.
और कौन-कौन सी थी टॉप 5 में
towards phase 4, phase 5, even phase 6. So it's really getting tougher and tougher. But for those who are in great positions, but as
M6 nation has been having
Vitality नहीं चुनी SATL RRQ MIBR चलो 3 के मिल जाएंगे फिर से फोन में डाउनलोड करो EWC मिलेगा पॉइंट मिलेगा 21,000 पॉइंट हो गए मेरे टोटल तुम्हें होम स्क्रीन पे मिल जाएंगे फोन में ऐप डाउनलोड कर लो इसकी अच्छा मिल
गया 4 games, they have a good chance really to understand who would be going against them, who would be chasing against them. And with Dudes in front line with the rest of the squad, I think they have a better positioning right now and won't be surprised if they can carry over onto the next map.
And for Vitality, we gotta go back to this booyah that they just got.
अच्छा जो हम टीमें चुनते हैं ना उनमें जो टॉप 5 करती है एक तो उनके 500 पॉइंट मिलते हैं और जो तुमने एक्यूरेट बताया ना कि कौन सी टीम इस पॉइंट पे आई नंबर पे आएगी उस टीम के तुम्हें 1000 पॉइंट मिलते हैं ऐसा है
They managed to pull it off quite well in the regionals on their own region and there's a lot more that you can see right now especially in the global scene and it worked right today
21,070 टोटल
right now first place is none other
Valorant, Dota सब में मैंने ऐसी रैंडम चुन ली थी Valorant की तो पता थी टीमें कैसी कैसी कुछ बाकी जो टीमें थी Dota गेम जो भी गेम्स थी बाकी उन सब के चुन लिए थे मैंने
final game of Group B in the
चलो
at least
final
for day
game
number 1 is Husky and Lucifer back on the mic for one last time this evening before we close out this opening day. I gotta say there might not be no fourth booyah by mibr.los, but I'm still looking forward to a potential third as we head back onto Nextera for one last time today. We've gotten our fair share of Nextera in Group A, and that has been quite the experience. But with how Indonesia teams have been stepping up, let's see if they can keep the train going. Maybe RQ will get the second.
Maybe, but I would want to take the trajectory just like how the map is moving a little towards the east, towards the right hand. It's not something
total gaming
teams to be worried about already, but still, I want to see another team get a booyah just to even the competition. They all standing already. Looks close by in this group compared to the group A. So that's the reason I want to see another team pick that pace up. But let's see if there's any fight. And already, as you can see, Deca Square is being lit up. Boxing gym again being a fighting arena in itself. Yes, irony is that it's a boxing gym. We also see people trying to pack a punch, and Straw Hats might be in the middle of it because Twisted Minds have looked better in their fights.
So last time in Game 4 when we saw the Intellect Center draw, it was only Lion, right? Now we see TG there as well. So it's going to be some early clashes here. We'll see how that one pans out because Lion, they kind of got close in previous 2 games, but that was the most that we've seen. Twisted Minds also comes under a bit of that pressure, I think courtesy of Fluxo, who actually dropped Diamond out in the WoW, and Exposy is also already gone.
Twisted Minds, they're picking up players from Straw Hats. This was a surprise. And now Al Ali is also in the mix of it. Straw Hats don't know where they have to run in the direction of. Shock did get the revive, but will not be able to turn the corner. C4, he's going to be quick. Al Ali, they need to recover. Their games early on were too good, but after what happened in Kalahari, that was a big mess up. But now
TG
they would want to recover, and recovery is something even Lion wants to do. It's not working.
TG ने फेल दिया.
They understand
Nice.
that day one
ओबे
has not been the
तेरी.
greatest yet for them. This
और सोल के पॉइंट्स भी नहीं है. सोल के पॉइंट्स भी, हाँ सोल के पॉइंट्स है तो नहीं होने का. एलिमिनेट नहीं होने की सोल अब बच जाएगी.
So Total Gaming can still
हाँ.
look for the finisher. Water. The
हाँ.
opening doesn't have line of sight. Actually, the
अच्छा
timing
हाँ
slightly off.
10वें पे रहेगी.
Aztec gets
अगर
brought
टीजी ने
back.
लाइन को निकाल दिया तो हो जाएगा काम.
In the grand scheme of things, right, the past two games, if we want to talk about teams that are looking to kind of recover in this final game, I want to see Al Ali bounce back.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
They came close on Nextera.
एक का तो अंट हो रहा है,
They
डेला
came
का.
close, finished third. The thing got
अबे डेला ही
messy,
बचा और उसका अंट
didn't go
कर रहा
according to
है.
plan. The last game it was a no-show because they got completely
ले.
decimated by mibr.los. But now we're back on Nextera.
अरे.
Top 3. Water
वोटा नहीं
just
इग्नोर कर
passing
दिया.
by Della, who held his breath.
लॉल.
okay.
He has no idea.
And Della did not take a fight. I think he was worried that maybe there might be more players from Total Gaming following Vota, but Vota, he's on a hit list.
डेला दिख गया, डेला दिख गया.
Are close by. He's just trying to run.
अरे वोटा क्या
Oh,
कर
it's
रहा
not
है
on
ये?
Vota. It's going to be on Mafia, the hit list, and they have to protect Mafia. But Vota is nowhere close to his teammates. And there's the final revive. Shanky also brought back to life, meaning Total Gaming are a full set of 4 players, but nowhere close to each other yet.
अबे यार डेला को पकड़ के मार दे.
What if you lose, right? And you're out of the lobby. You know, a strategic move there. Team Secret against Vitality just came off a massive round, and Team Secret looks to quickly extinguish that flames by taking out half the roster.
Vitality भी
Team
पिट
Vitality
गया.
themselves have 6 eliminations already in the bag. Sabang holding back on the trigger finger. No clear shot just yet. So survival is imperative.
TG
Team
की
Vitality
twist से
at
लड़ाई
this
बज
point.
रही है.
Team Secret gets to walk away with a couple of eliminations under the belt. I
भाई
believe it's 5 for
RR
now.
की फिर से आग
Even
लगा
Straw
दी.
has getting into a bit of a fight. RRQ coming out
फिर
on
से
top.
मार दिया
Rans
RRQ.
gets a quad.
Straw Hats all the way from boxing gym.
और इसमें एक पता है बच्चा भी RRQ का.
RRQ, they find them at
शायद
the
यही
dark
तो है
square.
Rans.
So as of now, RRQ looking forward to
यही है,
going
बहुत
back to
छोटा है
their
ये.
winning ways, what they did in our game number 4, get themselves number 4, get themselves a booyah. But in the overall ranking, we just saw both Vitality as well as RRQ both sitting with a total of
TG तो push
77
करके
points.
लिया अब.
Neck and neck, these two, whenever it comes to competition. The rivalry is cutthroat between these two giants. But hey, it's about getting to the top 4. Today, you don't win anything. One thing that you make sure of is you're in the final for the hunt of the trophy, for the hunt of that shield, to put your coin in and smash every other key out.
And take 3 bags as souvenirs.
Oh, yes.
Don't forget that part.
EHL भी eliminate हो जाए तो अच्छा है.
But also to give yourself a big lead so that you have a cushion to lay back on tomorrow, right? Let's say if you kind of blow 2 rounds in a row, at least you're not out of contention. Which is very important for teams with track record of not being able to show up consistently, right? And in this case, both the Indonesian teams we have in this lobby, we even set it up that the last 3 maps are going to be Indonesian favored, and guess what? So far it has been RRQ and Team Vitality.
One thing that we do have to give it to is, yes, Fluxo, of how they've been trying to control and convert. But their fans out here, they've been roaring from game number 1, even before the game number 1 started in our pre-show. But right as now, Lion, they want to be the ones. The Beasts Unchained against Vitality. The Hornets who just got their booyah. 1v1 against Koja. And Games King proves better. With the goes in for a second. Banks to elimination. And Lion looking better than ever in this final game for themselves.
That looks slightly reckless from Team Vitality, but with Fluxo's arrival, Lion are poking it out of there. Thankfully, Vitality, they split up in a 2-2 squad, so not all is lost. Even for Fluxo, despite no booyah so far, they're still spirited.
RRQ
The fans continuing to cheer on for their favorite team. RRQ on the radar right now against Team Secret. The aggressors are the Vietnamese. T-Quay around the corner, joined by Nan, but the window not really safe. So grenades fly through from RRQ. Abai would take a space. Riptide Rhythm from Wang exposed. PLS1 does the same. Runs now getting pushed.
Team Secret after the game 2 and game 3, they've not picked up pace. But right
Hey,
now, that's
RRQ
PLS1, the man who's been dealing the damage, and Rans, he also gets knocked. That's going to be from TQ. And RRQ in trouble after losing 2 of their players, the newest, youngest gun and their captain. That's something to be worried about. Mahal and Abeg, they are close. They could get stuck, and Abeg gets challenged. Nothing much he can do. Thankfully, did buy enough time for Mahal to go back to the vending machine. Revive will be back up. But so far, whenever we've seen Next Era, is been very high on elimination. Teams have been reviving their teammates back and forth, getting their teammates out, reviving again. So some of the teams are walking very happy out of Next Era once we end the game.
Yeah, it's just you get some extra points, right? Some chump chains. And I think the teams they got comfortable after the halfway point. They settled in, and now they're more proactive in finding those eliminations. And Ma'ao is gonna fly out of there. Can they shoot him down from the skies? Doesn't seem to be the case. Ma'ao finds safety and a good chance of reconvening with the rest of the squad. But right here, Games King, a reckless rush from D takes a headshot to the face. A double revolver working wonders here in CQC when you have that pre-fire advantage.
Advantage here on the replay, as we did see Lion getting themselves some extras, and I think Lion is a team that we want to see a lot coming in from, especially as we've always spoken about Games King,
57,
Games King. It is just brilliant of what he can do, but so far we've just seen a couple of eliminations that he's been able to deliver, and here
अबे नहीं होने की ऐसे 12 बार ऐसे 12 अब 10वें पे ही आएगी.
But there is an eye on him if he's able to deliver for the region, for the team, and push themselves forward, because we saw what Gun Dynasty did. They are
अगर मियाँ बहुत ज़्यादा चल गई या ऐसे ज़्यादा चल गई
in a group which is the toughest out there, and they managed to do that, and we expect
SS तो नहीं कर पाएगी, मियाँ कुछ कर सकती है.
In this case, we're seeing the expected front runners to be in front, but there are some standout performers, right? I mean, we saw Team Secret had a good round or two, but even then they are now sitting in 6th place with only 60 points. And the cutoff top 4 is actually a lot further than they would have liked. I mean, even TG and SAUL have some good moments, but in this case, SAUL
Shank के तो गाड़ी उड़ा रहा है.
As they have been wiped out. So all eyes are going to be back on Total Gaming, and maybe Al-Khali again. They can find that redemption, that recalibration from map 4.
I hope a recovery even happens. There might be a loss on the other end.
We
were rooting for maybe 4 booyahs on a stretch, but right now they might look forward to a third. They've already gotten game 1 and game 3 under control. This is game 6. And if they do, I think they're already ahead of the race in the top 4 to make it to the finals. And Brazil might end up seeing a champion. I think they've been the ones who've been waiting for the title, except for Fluxo. There's been nobody else from Brazil who's gotten themselves a big international title. And if it happens here, mibr.los, they're going to be a happiest.
Okay, it's a callback to one of the storylines, and I mean, a part of me wish that we could give multiple titles. We could get trophies to these teams. You want to talk about mibr.los? I also want to bring up RRQ, Vitality, those that have missed on the trophy.
So much.
I want to complete the cabinet of BRU so we could finally close that chapter. That could take this. That could be a reality in 3 days or another year. We never know.
चलो TG
one
पे
thing is
zone
for
है,
sure, this
safe है. RRQ
competition
को
is
पकड़
getting
सकती
harder
है
and
TG.
harder every year, man. Like I feel like coming to 2026, I
अबे
think to
TG
myself,
zone में उल्टा क्यों जा
and I
रही
wonder,
है?
what else can these teams give?
It is anybody's game out there. You cannot
Rotation
either
किस चीज़ की है?
predict or implicate that these teams are the ones who are going to perform. That's how the stage is so far. It was divine. We came in thinking that, hey, it's not going to happen on day 1 for them. And there you go.
They had 1 year of slump and they come in here and they get top 4 after day 1. I mean,
अरे
2 years
बिल्कुल
ago,
ही
if
उल्टा
you
कुछ
tell
जा
me
रही है तो.
BR is going to lift the trophy, I'm like, of course they're going to lift the trophy. I don't have to watch the match. I'll wake up the next day and look at the final and know it's going to be them, right? It's going to happen in my dreams. It's going to happen in the real world. But right now, it hasn't been the case.
And that's what we kind of thought for RRQ and Vitality as well. It's not been the greatest start today. Maybe a recovery that we did end up seeing around game number 3 and now game number 5 that Vitality were able to secure a booyah. Now even Lion trying to do the same thing. While we are kind of drawing verticals between Group A and Group B, that's the best part of it. Eventually, both these groups of whoever managed to qualify to the finals will be fighting against each other. So a sharp eye needs to be kept. And right now in next year, I'm surprised that no teams are yet fighting. We've barely seen an elimination for at least 2 minutes, and we've been just standing and talking about different teams.
Yeah, and it gives us some breathing room to really re-establish some of the narratives that has been built up over the courses of maybe a couple of seasons or even years. But now the ice will break with Team Secret's arrival at Straw Hat's mansion here. I'm gonna box up the attic first, but Games King from nowhere takes out Xtrov, and that is bad news for Straw Hats.
Straw Hats are not having their day at all here on day one. They've been trying. I didn't have high expectations, but it seems like just like Titan Esports Club, they're not finding their foot to lay down on or maybe even run. And Team Secret on the other end have already picked 8 elimination, have cornered Straw Hats. Same can be said between Fluxo as well as Twisted Minds. They cornered Explosive, but the Bas, he's quick. He rushes outside, puts the player down, but butts in trying to go in for a trade-off. This is going to be a 1. As MT7's been taken down, that is going to be a little bit of a worry for Fluxo, and the teammates are not close by, not together to play out. And you can see still, he picks one player off, but so close, in danger is Gu, puts up glue walls, but for how long is he going to defend?
And was able to make it out the doorway as well, avoid the blue zone. Hughes back up in time. There's now a second win. It could be a possibility for Geo right here. That glue wall goes down. Geo now takes on the challenge. A 2v1. Taller there for Geo. And not doable as Twisted Minds shuts that down.
Not at least today as of now for Fluxo. Tried their best, but they will get eliminated. Twisted Minds, they are looking forward to their booyah. I think they are kind of the underdogs, the underrated so far. They've been always been in the circuit, but they've not always gotten closer to the title from Thailand.
And that's what we sort of established at the start, right? Like they were the last team we talked about. And we went to every single team before we arrived at Twisted Minds. And you look at any official circuit, they were never the last. In fact, they were the ones that is upsetting the balance. They were the ones that when they show up big, suddenly they take away all of the spotlight, but it goes just as quickly as it comes.
But as of now, mibr.los, they're looking forward to getting their own booyah. Oh, a fight completely against RRQ, and it is going to be Total Gaming who win it out, but the zone's closing in. They have to quickly recover, but there is Team Secret in trouble, and whenever it is PLS1, he is the sharpshooter out there. However, trading it out, troubling Team Secret here, and they were not ready for it. The last man standing wants to take a launch pad, quickly jump over. TQ can be spotted out in the open. The zone's very small, the circle's small. However, Total Gaming, they survived. And PLS1, the confirmation comes through, and TQ steps right to the Vitality's landmine, and that is done for Team Secret.
Total Gaming के 9 kill है.
Unfortunate chain of events who are slightly quieter this round, but in the grand scheme of things, Twisted Minds down in numbers. Lion still holding on strong now up against Mia Corp. Vitality also in the circle with a good building to control. We've seen that in the previous round on Kalahari, where they played these compound fights very systematically. TG under the bridge, looks for the Bass, finds the trade.
They were quick, but the problem's still not done. Jump is still surviving. He's been able to deliver one knock, and now it comes down to the player, Shanky, the last man standing, and he gets cleaned off. That is trouble for Total Gaming, and it is done. Game number 6, they couldn't find much. And thanks to Lion also being there, they ended up helping out Twisted Minds, and Jump will still make it across at the 6th spot, and he still has a lot more chances now.
Some of these teams that wanted a second chance, we talk about Lion, we talk about Mia Corp, who have something to prove, but Al-Ali, full squad remaining here.
Lion तो आ
चुकी
TG
के ऊपर. Al-Ali now has to go to this battlefield.
Position point जब count
and gets
होंगे.
completely blown up by Haone.
The one major problem in Group B that we've seen is multiple teams taking hit on just one single team. They're getting forced on those fights. Sandwich
और position के 2 पड़ चुके हैं.
on those fights. They're getting minced, and now Jump, the last man who gets eliminated. That's the end for Twisted Minds. But look at Mia Corp. Of all the 5 games we've seen so far, they made it to the top 4 the very first time, and this looks good. It seems like
ये kill के count हो चुके हैं इसमें.
You want an underdog to root for, you have 2
बाद में होंगे ना? पहले क्यों रहा है ये?
Kills count होते हैं, position count नहीं होता.
हाँ ठीक है, तो 36. अबे क्या हो गया?
ज़्यादा 45-55 तक जाएंगे.
It happened. This is Mia Corp's fight. This is theirs to take, but 2
गई मिया.
of them still goes down. The blue zone takes all of them out, and Mia Corp ends up falling victim to the system.
Unfortunate for Mia Corp. Such a brilliant battle that they were able to deliver, but now it looks like mibr.los might be looking forward to the 3rd booyah of Group B. looking unstoppable so
mibr
far, but
ले
Lion,
जाएंगे
can
और
they
Booyah
stop them? A 1v1 duel is
Vitality
what they
तो
decide
नहीं
to take, but
बचेगी
Yago and Rick
Lion
one by
का भी
one
एक
take on
बचा
Axe and Della, and Lion are losing players one after
Vitality
another,
में
and as that happens, even
mibr
Dix
और
gets
Lion
eliminated, and Games King was the last man standing, and it is going to be mibr.los getting the final booyah of Group B's Day 1.
Matching BRU's achievement in Group A, 3 booyahs. As and you shall receive, mibr.los delivers it on a silver platter. Thailand might have dominated Group A, but Group B is their closest contender for the longest of time. And it's not Fluxo, it's mibr.los.
I mean, Yago back on the trail of being Group B. Highest in terms of sniping skills, best in terms of dealing damage, looking forward to eliminations. And mibr.los, I think, as soon as the zone was about to shift, right, the approach they made to get ahead of it, that sealed the game for themselves. They blocked every other team, and right now they end up holding it off. Even that final battle, Lion did have an opportunity, but we've spoken about this. You split your resources, you split your approach, it becomes difficult. If both fall, both the fillers are down, the entire building collapses, and that's what happened for Lion. If they were together, maybe there wasn't a chance.
Yeah. You're only as strong as your weakest link, and unfortunately for Ali, this was... We saw the recovery, right? It was in action. They put the plan into motion, all to get intercepted by mibr.los on the cross. But it's something that is unfortunate, and I think, you know, all things considered, they did achieve what they wanted.
Yeah.
They still have 6 more games tomorrow, and worst comes to worst, 10 more on
देखो
day 3.
6 more game tomorrow बोला है.
If mibr.los do what they did today, Ali might have a lot of trouble, because when they started the day off, we did see them around the top 4, top 3, but now they've slowly been dipping down, and that is going to hurt for them. And I think that is why we saw that emotion come out from the players itself as soon as they lost that battle between RRQ, and RRQ ended up getting their very first booyah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we even see the player's POV, Yago, of course, keeping the Skylar up close to his heart.
Yeah.
That's what won him his first trophy internationally back in 2023. That could be a callback if he was to lift the EWC trophy at the end of this weekend. mibr.los, man, they could complete the saga. They could finish the job. That was 365 days ago.
They could do between somebody else, and they could take it away. Maybe Brazil is what EWC this time has the name of. But right as now, we have an interview on stage. That's going to be Dots. Let's send it over there.
Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to be back here with you and me together, but also it's such a pleasure to interview Dutch right now. All right, we reached the end of the day, but the day for you guys starts slow with some early eliminations, but you guys keep it up towards the end. What was the reason for the slow start?
Jadi pagi tadi kan mulanya agak perlahan dengan ada elimination. Jadi mengapa pagi tadi agak perlahan gitu permulaannya?
Oh, ya mungkin ini day awal kita main, jadi ya kita pemanasan aja di day ini.
Maybe it was the beginning, we were warming up.
Okay, yes, that's for sure. It's a good reason, and you guys did amazing. And it picked up massively with a booyah. Was there anything you said to each other, your team, maybe build up a better chemistry to put the previous games behind you?
Jadi kemudian selepas yang agak elimination itu kan, kemudian jadi lebih bagus. Jadi lebih bagus kan selepas itu sudah ada booyah. Jadi apa yang dilakukan dalam tim sama-sama, ada strateginya kah ke apa?
Ya mungkin game tadi sih kita belum tahu cara main musuh di sini sih. Jadi kita baca game di match berapa, ya kita akhirnya bisa dapat booyah lah.
So at the beginning we cannot read the other team's games, and then we got the trend, we know what they're gonna do, and we read the room basically, and then we got better.
Perfect. Study the other teams is the best that you guys can do to finish the day like this. Okay, RRQ Kazoo have always placed highly at the international events, but not managed to win any of them. What are the final things you guys are missing that you needed to do to finally win our World Championship?
Jadi RRQ selalunya di tangga tertinggi dalam international games. Tapi kenapa masih belum di tempat tinggi dan apa yang perlu dilakukan?
Ya mungkin kemarin kita belum dapat pajalnya lah buat jadi juara. Tapi di tahun ini ya kita pasti bisa jadi juara dunia lah.
We may not have had the luck yet, but this year we are determined to win.
Wow, what a strong answer. Thank you so much, Dutch. That was Dutch from RRQ Kazoo. Congratulations on the day. We are waiting more action from RRQ Kazoo in the next days. And you and me, guys, thank you so much. That was amazing. Back to the studio.
RRQ, you started off slow, but boy, did you finish strong as well. Conchita, are you happy with their performance today?
I am quite happy, even though I know that they could do so much better. I think, yeah, they could do so much better, seeing how they performed last year, and of course, the journey throughout the whole year in the regional. I do think that could be so much better than what we see today, but finishing at the 5th position with 88 points and 63 elimination points is quite okay, I guess.
I mean, you gotta be happy.
I'm not gonna jinx it. I'm not gonna say the wrong things again. So, okay, I'm just gonna give a thumbs up.
I mean, even after that, he was just saying, you know, we read the room, and that was exactly what you said. They were like, just give him a little bit of time to like adapt, and that's what came from RRQ. So
Told ya.
it's like, you know. No.
RRQ, that means RRQ tomorrow, she wants a first place finish out of your group, which is going to be tough considering how LOS is currently playing. Talking about LOS, it happened. It ended up happening. They ended up getting 3 booyahs.
My God. Yeah, 3 booyahs. That is amazing. And of course, seeing that Buriram United Esports also achieved the same thing, I think it's like, I don't know, it's like a reality call. Like, you're not special, we can do the same thing as you know what I'm saying? But of course, if we compare the points, I think Buriram United Esports is still slightly ahead with 132 points and 80 elimination points. So yeah, LOS, this is a great start. Hopefully they can keep the consistency.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing that they managed to pull off this 3rd booyah as well, because I was expecting that they
mibr first,
judging from the numbers that they brought in, everyone out of this group, it was quite close to each other. Like, look at it. Compared to what we have earlier in Group A, right now it's only LOS who have a huge lead, and the rest is quite very close against each other. So I really am loving how each team is trying about this. I'm really looking forward to how when they're mixed up together.
Yeah, if you're LOS coming into tomorrow, you're going to be so happy. You have a 38-point lead to 5th place team. That's exactly where you want to be now. You're Vitality. What a step up from this squad as well. And before we even go into Vitality, Twisted Minds ends up finishing in that 4th place.
I'm so impressed with Twisted Minds, okay? If y'all see my eyes on the screen, I've been following their entire story today, and honestly, they have been building success since match number 2, baby, and you can see it even in like their macro plays and their adjustments when they go through the trenches. And I mean, they're down to 1 player. Generally, you know, Jump's gone in and, you know, going, oh, okay, I'm down, and then you've got Diamond with the recovery, but they have been able to literally pull this together and fight for their dear life, and you see it with Exposé and Diamond. They were basically down to the 2nd and 3rd. Plus, we have Exposé 2nd in elims overall for this team. So this is nothing to shy away about. No, it's not the top, but they were able to change absolutely everything through their games, and I'm loving watching this team, and I can't wait to see what they do in the future.
We're talking about these amazing teams in the first page, but we gotta flip that side. We gotta take a look here at the 2nd page, especially those teams towards the bottom, because Neptune coming into tomorrow, it is a healthy lead and a healthy gap that they're gonna have to make sure they close.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they put in the homework today after the game and in preparation for tomorrow, because again, we have Straw Hats and Mia Corp. It's not looking good for them. I know Straw Hats has a history already in playing competitive, but in EWC, this is where we want them to pop off. But it seems like it's getting more difficult by the day or by the matches, and with some of the teams adapting that well, even Mia Corp, they try to make an adjustment of just playing it passive, not so much of aggression, just go for the placement, and it only